show is starting soon video play like the professionals do. I mention this like every single time now. It's just killing time because it feels like I'm doing something other than just sitting here and waiting to see if it's working or not. We got a new subscriber, Redneck Reviews. Welcome.
Hello.
And let us see. John Washburn's asking any idea what the topics are.
You'll see.
Okay. Do I have everything working?
Yes, you do.
Okay, good.
Live.
We are live. Excellent. So, hello, World Wide Web. I'm Decker Shadow, the internet personality with his tear, and welcome to episode 49th of Live and Wired, Surreal Estate. Joining, as always, we have that long-haired creepy guy and his lovely, lovely dish of food.
Yo. And I brought my Live and Wired mug this time.
Nice.
And the spirit gum that holds our horror makeup together, Patricia Miranda.
Hey, everyone. I didn't bring food or anything like that, but I have my usual bottle of water, so there's that.
My Live and Wired mug is thermal, so it just looks like a black mug if I don't have hot liquid in it. It's kind of sad.
Mm-hmm.
Which reminds me, I did sell a couple more of the Live and Wired mugs for the little Surface Pro fundraiser. So now that's
nice.
3 down, 597 to go.
All right.
And
Fantastic.
that was purchased by Sean. Says, the best reviewer needs the best. I saw that on the Streamlabs events there, so that's nice. I got that up. I can see some things. Maybe I won't miss all the super chats. They should appear here. I got my Surface here. Got my monitors. Everything's beautiful. It's Live and Wired. You know how it works. I didn't post it anywhere. Dear God, I messed up.
All right, well...
I don't know how it works.
I'll go look through the chat. So everybody's saying hello. Kel-El is saying first timer here. So awesome. Superman's watching us. Let's see. Everybody's saying Dizzy's sick.
Feed the Swag Pig 5 on Mixer says, bruh.
Dizzy's sick is also here for the first time, so welcome.
Wolfwine's here on Twitch. Hello. Says hello, Patty Decker and Creepy.
Hello. Let's see. Let's see. Motorcycle US asks us, ask your opinion on which game to get, Decker. I take it was a question that he probably asked before.
Oh, yes. I think I'm trying to remember which question came in. I got a question somewhere about whether or not to get Borderlands 3 or The Outer Worlds. I'm not sure if they're the one that asked the question. But it's a pretty different game, though more similar than you might think. And The Outer Worlds is a pretty linear kind of shooter RPG. I liken The Outer Worlds not to Fallout, like everyone seems to be gushing on it. And yeah, Obsidian made it. Yeah, it's got similarities to Fallout New Vegas. But I feel like just saying The Outer Worlds is Fallout is doing a massive disservice to The Outer Worlds. The Outer Worlds is like Borderlands, but an actual RPG. It's like Borderlands meets Baldur's Gate.
Interesting.
So, I mean, if you want, like, shooty action, you can slide and climb up stuff on Borderlands 3. You can't do that in The Outer Worlds. But if you want an actual story to get invested in and characters to meet and some interesting skill trees to go up, and not just, hey, here's your class, you get pets, and your little monkey guy can carry a gun, isn't that awesome? Which it is. But it's, you know, Borderlands 3 is specifically for the gameplay loot. Go, shoot, kill, loot, return. Mm-hmm. And The Outer Worlds is very much for the world building and the story and meeting all different characters and figuring out how you are going to affect it. Because you have that choice in The Outer Worlds. In Borderlands, you just do what the quest tells you. There's a lot more options to you in The Outer Worlds.
Yeah. So I hope this helps you out, Motorcycle US.
Have I played World War Z? Asks Dylan Jenkins 31. No, I have not, I'm afraid. What costumes would our host dress up for in Halloween? That would have made a good Twitter poll. Oh, boy.
Yeah, that would have been a really good Twitter poll.
That would have been.
Yeah.
I want to see. I want there to be like creepy Decker and Patricia cosplayers at conventions.
I can just imagine someone going in with just like a mop on their head.
Oh, you could be Cousin It.
You don't have to say it like that. Patricia, mine was self self-deprecating humor. That was just me.
No, I was. The mop. Oh, okay, gotcha. Gotcha.
Ow, it hurts to laugh. Damn you, Ring Fit Adventure.
Oh yes, that's right. Before we started recording, Decker was actually talking to me about his Ring Fit Adventure experience.
Yeah, I got that I think today was day 10 on my thing. I don't remember how many days. The little tutorial man tells you every time, but I don't pay attention to that. He's just like, you stretch! I'm like, yes, sir! Oh, boy.
Decker is taking orders from his video games now. This does not help me.
Yeah.
It does sound like a fun game, though. You know, having to go through different obstacles like rowing in a river and catching fruit and all that kind of stuff. So,
and how difficult, how physically exhausting it is based on the difficulty level. It has 30 difficulty levels, so it's pretty fine-tunable.
Oh wow, 30.
Yeah.
I mean, usually in like video games, there's like easy, intermediate, and then difficult. So, how many levels are there in hard mode?
Well, you just tell it, this is how old I am, this is how much I weigh, and I would like an experience about this difficult, and based on that, it'll just give you something between 1 and 30. But,
okay, it's a customizable thing.
But the basic thing is, like, in a fit battle, say you need to do your squats to fight this yoga mat. This yoga mat is attacking, and you have to squat it to death. If you're on difficulty level 5, you have to do 5 squats. Like, the first 3 squats are going to be normal, slow squats, stop, hold, and the last 2 will be quick. You got to just down, up, there we go, done. Say you're on difficulty level 28, though. You're going to have to do 28 squats. The first 20 will have to be long squat, stand, long squat, stand, and the last 8 will have to be quick. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. So, it gets to be a bit more intense at the higher difficulty levels. I'm on difficulty level, I think, 16. I started on 9, and I just ticked it up, and now I'm just kicking my ass. So, yay.
Everybody in the chat is asking you about the food that you have, Creepy.
Oh, buffalo chicken pizza.
There you go. Avenge the Dead TX said, I bet Creepy has some fava beans and a bottle of Chianti next to his plate.
No. I have no fava beans, but I do have, and I have no Chianti, but I do. There's not even wine in the house. But I do have Mountain Dew, and I have it in my Live and Wired.
Now I'm just thinking of Hannibal enjoying some brain with a side of Mountain Dew.
Maybe like the 21st century Hannibal Lecter, if he was like
It really
16.
makes the neurons fire off. It tastes almost like Pop Rocks at that point.
You know, I was really close to putting up a news article for us to discuss about another stupid item that I just so happened to have found online. Mountain Dew scented candles. But I was like, no, I think that I don't want to talk about that because, I mean, it was just like candles in a Mountain Dew can. It's like, there's nothing special about it. It's not like the weird stuff that we talked about on this show, like the Mortal Kombat blood scented candles or the Doom Bone vodka. So I was like, whatever. I mean, it cannot be any more ridiculous than the time that we found the Microsoft Xbox body wash. So it's like, you got to step up your game, Mountain Dew. I mean, give me something stupid so we can talk about it.
Patricia, I got it. I got the 4th one, the joke one.
Oh, good.
Hell World.
Yep. Oh, no.
Well, we could get started on the news then. I was struggling here to figure out what the Twitter poll is going to be. I'm like, damn it, I got to plan these things out beforehand.
All right. Let's see. I guess.
Yeah, point taken. Creepy point.
Yeah. Actually,
Streen is asking, wait, what's Creepy eating? I think the talk about brains and fava beans and Mountain Dew kind of threw everything off for a bit.
Yeah, it's buffalo chicken pizza, if you're wondering.
Right. Thank you, Patricia.
Whereas I'm having bell peppers and beef, but the inverse of the Cowboy Bebop style. I have just beef.
Okay.
But it tastes a bit like bell pepper. There used to be bell pepper in there.
I had a stir fry for dinner. Tofu with some roasted vegetables with a teriyaki sauce over a bed of brown rice. So
I
that's
bought
what
like a 3-pound chuck roast, and I put 2 bell peppers in that. So I realize now the error of my ways.
Those bell peppers must have been gigantic.
Yeah.
I'll give you that.
In his imagination, they were gigantic. In real life, they didn't exist.
Gotcha. All right, so I guess let's get things started. I have the first article up. So let's talk about some comic book news, especially for all you horror fans out there. So Dracula has been around for a very long time, and a lot of people have argued about which person played the definitive Dracula. For classic horror fans, it's
Count Chocula.
Yes, Count Chocula. You took the words right out of my mouth.
Which I have some in the cupboard.
I haven't had Count Chocula in a very long time. I'm trying to stay away from very sugary cereals, but I mean, I think I should try at least once for the Halloween season. But anyway, Bela Lugosi was the answer I was going for, and just recently, I found an article discussing about that they're going to do a new graphic novel featuring Bela Lugosi as Dracula. So here is actually the
quite right.
Oh,
wait,
is it wrong?
I have. I was recording something earlier and I messed stuff up, so I gotta fix that. Okay. There we go. Okay, and yes. Okay, got it.
All right, let's. Here we go. So, Legendary Comics is going to be behind this new graphic novel, and this is the first picture that they showed here of Dracula. And it does look very similar to Bela Lugosi. So I will take a read into this. And this episode of Live and Wire is not sponsored by Quaker's Chewy granola bars.
Oh, that would be so nice.
Yeah, it would be nice. Next year's Bram Stoker's Dracula will feature the actor in the lead role once again. 2 horror greats will live again next year, courtesy of Legendary Comics, with a new graphic novel adapting Bram Stoker's Dracula with an unexpected twist. The lead role will be filled by iconic actor Bela Lugosi. The comic book arm of Legendary Entertainment will publish Bram Stoker's Dracula starring Bela Lugosi in late 2020 in partnership with the Lugosi Estate and Kerry Gimmel, publisher of Bela Lugosi's Tales from the Grave. Featuring art from El Gehring and art direction from Gimmel, the book will return the actor, or at least his likeness, to a role he first played on stage in the late 1920s.
I'm pretty sure he'd be okay with this.
Yeah, I mean, he has been dead for over 60 years.
Yeah, but he really liked being Dracula.
True.
That is true, yeah. And I do know that the Lugosi estate is very protective of where Bela Lugosi would be featured in, especially his son. I remember when Ed Wood came out in theaters, his son was not happy with Martin Landau's performance as Bela Lugosi, especially with the swearing scenes. So, yeah, very similar to the Rudyard Kipling estate and the Edgar Rice Burroughs estate. They are very protected with, whatever's the thing that is making them really popular. So,
but we can't have Bram Stoker's Dracula as a graphic novel starring Count Chocula.
Please don't jinx that. Do you remember last year where we talked about the movies involving that they're hiring people to write the script for Count Chocula, Frankenberry, and Booberry, and we have heard nothing about that yet?
I'm worried now.
Don't worry. If there ever comes a time in which something does get announced, we will talk about it, and we will gladly say that you heard it here first.
Bulkwine says along the Dracula line, Robert Egger is looking at remaking Nosferatu as well. Not sure how they feel about that.
Yeah.
Interesting. I mean, I haven't heard any news about that. I'll have to double check on that to see what they have to say about it. Bela Lugosi created his unique portrayal of Count Dracula on the Broadway stage and has become a cultural icon for his performance in the 1931 film. Lynn Lugosi Sparks, granddaughter of the actor and CEO of Lugosi LLC, said in a statement. This graphic novel beautifully answers the question, what would Lugosi's performance look like in a direct interpretation of Bram Bram Stoker's novel. We believe Legendary Comics has proven what fans already know. Bela Lugosi is Dracula. There have been great Dracula graphic novels, but to unite Bram Stoker's novel in a faithful adaptation with the definitive Dracula in the form of screen icon Bela Lugosi is a dream come true. Legendary Comics SVP Robert Nagton added. More information about the project, which is targeted for a fall 2020 release, will be revealed during the Legendary Comics 2019 and Beyond panel at the Los Angeles Comic-Con this weekend, which, as of the recording of this episode, already happened. And this panel will also feature a number of other Legendary comic projects, including The Witches of Silver Lake and Lost in Space, Countdown to Danger. So this is what the comic looks like. Let me see. Here we go. This is what it looks like right here. So we have the, let me see if I can, no, I can't. But anyway, so yeah, basically we have Legendary Comics in the bottom, and we have the Lugosi Estate logo right over there. And it says right down in the bottom, coming in 2020. So there you go. There's that.
All right. Oh, I gotta click some things. I know what I'm doing. I am good at this. Okay.
We hear this every week, and immediately it is preceded by evidence to the contrary.
That's not great. Not point. Not point.
Not point?
Not point.
Not point.
Not point.
Okay.
Okay, so yeah, Bela Lugosi as Dracula in a graphic novel. Now, like we've pointed out, man's been dead for a while.
Yes.
But then again, coming back from the dead is kind of Dracula's thing.
True.
Also, I don't watch your movies. You always come back. I'm standing right here.
also in Castlevania, Dracula comes back every 100 years. So there you go.
But Bela Lugosi, if I recall, is like a lot of actors that get typecast or they have one role that everyone associates them with. A lot of them grow to dislike that role.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure, if I remember right, that Bela Lugosi really enjoyed being the Dracula.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it was the role that made him famous. He'd appear on stage, but that film was the one that brought him into pop culture. Made him a pop culture icon. And every film, that he came out afterwards, they usually typecast him as like the dark, mysterious character. I mean, he has strayed away a couple of times whenever he was in like various films, like Son of Frankenstein, where he played as Igor, the Hunchback, and there was also The Invisible Ray, alongside with Boris Karloff is another one. Right. And he, unfortunately, because he was typecast with all of these similar movies around the 50s, he wasn't able to get any work. I mean, this was like around the time in which like the industry started to change drastically. We went from like the spooky stories, and then it was like B movies with like giant creatures and the talks of the Cold War. So Bela Lugosi was considered to be like a has-been, and he was also addicted to morphine. And
Glenn Talbot mentions that Bela Lugosi was buried with his cape.
Yes, he was. Although it's actually interesting, from what I understand, there's apparently an upcoming movie or a TV show that is going to be coming out that has Bela Lugosi's Dracula cape. I don't know if there was like multiple capes, because I do know that he may have had multiple capes. I don't know if the one that he wore was like the original
I would hope after decades of him being Dracula, they wouldn't just say, nah, bring out the old cape. We can't afford another cape. Just take the same damn cape.
Right.
In most films, like that, there will be multiple versions of like a costume. So there will be multiple versions of the Dracula cape. Is not surprising, because, I mean, sometimes there are very different hues. They're slightly different hues because of different camera angles and lighting and so forth. Sometimes you get ripped. Costumes don't hold up. Especially in a movie set where things are always moving around. So. Yeah, there being multiple capes, and he just took one of them home, and that became known because Bela Lugosi had it. That became known as the Dracula cape, and he was buried with,
Exactly, yeah.
So, no, I don't think they necessarily exhumed his body so that they could steal the cape from a dead guy.
I think it was just from marketing. It's like, ooh, this one cape that Bela Lugosi wore.
If they tried that, he'd just reach out, grab their arm, and be like, I'm still using that.
Right.
And then everyone in Hollywood everyone there was just like, damn it. Somebody get my lawyer on the phone.
Right.
Mr. Lugosi, the terms of the contract have long since expired.
As have you.
Oh, boy.
I also heard that was what you said earlier about how, in the 50s in Hollywood, he was considered a has-been. That was the whole reason why he agreed to work for Ed Wood, even though it was not like the most prestigious thing for him to be in. He was basically, he needed work. He needed a job of some kind.
So it's kind of a Lance Henriksen situation.
Oh, no.
Lance Henriksen.
It's funny, the comic book cast would, it was back when Robbie McDowell was like, struggling to work. Like he was like typecast in various like really bad movies. They would always like joke and saying like, he'll probably do it for a sandwich or something. It's like, no, that's more like Dom DeLuise. But yeah, I can understand like, various people. It's like, they were at the top at one point and then for some reason or another, they just hit rock bottom and they would star in anything just so they can get a quick paycheck.
Hollywood is not very forgiving for people who slide off the radar,
Not even close.
Right.
In Hollywood, it's very touch and go. Even if you had your 15 minutes of fame, they'll look for the next person immediately.
Yeah. There was
it's kind of like EA.
Yeah.
Once you screw up once, that's it. Your studio no longer exists.
Oh, God, no.
There was this joke for a long time in the 90s and the early 2000s. You knew that an actor or actress had hit rock bottom when they agreed to appear in a Lifetime original movie.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Like if you appear on a Lifetime original movie, that's it. You're never coming back.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Like
I think the one possible exception, kind of just a little bit, was Morgan Fairchild. And she did have some roles after Lifetime, but they weren't very big ones. I'm not even sure people know who that is anymore. Sorry.
Yeah, Feed the Swag Pig 5 on Mixer asks, have you watched JoJo's Bizarre Adventure? And
no.
I have to say, no, I have not. I'm still working on the entirety of the Dragon Ball series. And I've reached a point in Dragon Ball Super where I am watching episodes and I'm like, that felt like a big waste of time. The Aurelie throwback episode and the baseball episode, I could have just completely missed those and I wouldn't have, it would have been fine.
The reason why those episodes happen right between the Goku Black arc and the Tournament of Power arc is because usually they do have filler episodes so they can be able to catch up with the animation. And I think this was like roughly around the same time in which like the Tournament of Power arc was still happening in the manga, so they needed to have some episodes to kind of like, quickly do it. And this is a thing I've been noticing nowadays in anime, in which like they would make an anime based off of a manga that's still brand new. And manga is completely different now. Most people, they used to do manga like 18 chapters of a page, 18 pages of a chapter every single week. Nowadays, from what I've been reading, they do like maybe a few volumes every month. So that means that production of manga is a little bit slower.
So it's kind of like how novels, like back in the 1800s, a novel would be published. Like every 2 weeks, you'd get a few more pages.
Right. Exactly. And the biggest crime that I've seen this so far that a lot of people have been complaining about is Boruto no Generations, in which if you watch the anime compared to reading it from the manga, most of it is absolutely nothing like the manga at all. Like I would say like 90% of it is pure filler. Mm-hmm. And that's because the story, as mentioned earlier, they do a few volumes every month, and it's they're taking their time in building up the story, and it's getting a little bit more slower, which is I can understand nowadays because people used to get sick or get suffer from burnout and exhaustion because of having to produce so much stuff on a weekly basis that they're like, I can't do this.
I cannot relate.
There you go. So yeah, I can understand that your frustration, Decker, about like, why do I have to watch the baseball episode and the episode focusing on Arale when I can just go into the fun stuff? It's like, that's how it is sometimes, and we just have to put up with it.
And putting up with filler arcs is like half the point of Dragon Ball Z. Like, half the point of Dragon Ball in general is just watching filler arcs, Just like, okay, plot, filler, plot, filler,
plot, filler, more filler, plot.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why in the original Dragon Ball Z, where you have free saying, you have 5 minutes until Nappa is not Nappa, until Namek is destroyed, and then 18 episodes later, it's like, oh, finally, we're getting into the good stuff.
Right. I remember the title of the episode in English was something like 5 minutes till destruction, and then it was. You remember when Dragon Ball was airing on Toonami, they had like an hour-long block.
Oh my god!
Each like during the weekdays, they had an hour-long block, and it still took them, I want to say, like half a year, almost a year, just to get they were just like they couldn't.
I'm just glad when I said the baseball episode, you didn't respond with which one, Decker. Oh, God, no.
I know which one you're referring to. The one that came out after the Goku Black arc, where you have Tournament 7. Dimension 7 versus Dimension 8, and you have Yamcha, who's like the best baseball player out there. And
he did play baseball before, but at the same time, I was a little confused when he runs out and he's doing pitching, and I'm like, wait, but Yamcha's a batter,
right? He was a batter in the first. I think he's shown as a batter in early on in Dragon Ball Z, and I don't think it ever came up again. Like
it's like that's just what he was doing with all his strength in the meantime, while there was no threat to the world. He was paying the bills by being the star batter on his team.
Right, yeah. And then there was like this. Whole arc where after I want to say that either at the Cell Saga or like the Android Saga, he like took a vow of peace and said that he was done fighting, because by the times the androids and Cell showed up, they were like leagues beyond anything he was capable of fighting. So he's like, yeah, I'm out. I'm done. If I try and beat these guys, I'm going to die. Like, just they're gonna look at me and I will explode.
I just liked when Yamcha was there batting, Vegeta was there pitching, and I was just thinking, like, you see Bulma on the sidelines, and she's starting to like get some eyes for Yamcha again. I'm thinking that'd be an interesting sight. Yamcha just at home minding his business, making his morning toast. And then Vegeta just bursts in through the wall, grabs him. You getting fresh with my woman?
Right.
You also remember like the big twist. Like you had was it 6? It was like 2 years or something.
Oh.
Yeah.
Carmagen asks, "Are you guys awake or is it only live and tired?" It's been a long week.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been a busy week for everybody here, but sorry about that.
So yeah, we got a little sidetracked there.
Okay, let's. Okay,
sorry about the filler episode.
Yeah. Yes, filler talk
crap,
on.
I can't hear anything. Is that normal? Oh, I still. That's odd. That is very odd. I can see on OBS you're still coming through, but I can't hear you.
Oh, that's bad.
Uh-oh.
I gotta figure out what's wrong here.
Testing.
Hello. So we essentially did filler.
Okay. Whoa. Okay. I just plugged my headset into the front of my computer, and now I can hear you again.
Gotcha. Oh. So we essentially did filler. We were making fun of filler, and yet we did filler ourselves for Live and Wired.
Yeah.
Irony.
Yes, very much so. All right, let's go over to our next article. So, let's see. Oh, this ought to be actually something really interesting to talk about. Let's go over to our first discussion on the topic, which was Surreal Estate. So let's talk about our first Surreal Estate. So Creepy will take this one, and let's discuss about our very first Surreal Estate. Stephen King is turning his main home into a museum and writer's retreat. Yes, this is a thing. So, let me just... Okay, so this
Does
is
he
the...
have? He has a legitimate little gargoyle on his fence post.
I saw that too. Also, hasn't this been in one of his movies before? Because this house looks very familiar.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Mm-hmm.
Motorcycle US gave us $2 saying, "Creepy, what happened to Yajirobe?"
What happened to who?
Yajirobe from Dragon Ball?
Oh, Yashiro. I don't know.
He just lives with Corrin on Corrin's tower. I have no idea why. I've seen far more Yajirobe without caring at all for him. I'm like, where's Launch? She was getting together with Tien. I was interested in the future. I wonder if their babies would have like 2.5 eyes. I don't
know. Unfortunately, the only way you can be able to find out when Launch is if you watch Masako X's What If story on What If Raditz Turn Good, and it's called what was it called? Like I think I remember what it was called. Let me see if I. Oh yeah, Dragon Ball R&R. So yeah, Dragon Ball R&R focuses on what if Raditz turned good, and it's like this really elaborate, like 19-part story that he discusses about. And there's like a comic/animated series, and Launch is married to Raditz, and they have a child together named Ranch, and they like have this.
Okay, that's some fan fiction right there.
That's the point, Decker.
I know, but
anyway, let's get back to the subject.
Raunch. Yeah, both line on to it sounds raunchy.
No. Ranch, as in like ranch dressing. He says ranch because Masako X is British.
So it's like when Charlie was playing one of the Tomb Raiders, and I was swearing for half the game. I wasn't reading the subtitles. I just swore for some reason that she was spending all this time looking for the divine sauce.
What? Okay. Savage Tiger 13 gave us $20. Next time on Live and Wired Z, will Decker remember what the hell he was talking about? Will Creepy share his dinner with the hungry fans? Will Patricia lose her mind trying to keep Decker and Creepy on track? Find out soon.
Thank you for doing that.
Oh boy.
I think that deserves a round of applause from all of us. Okay, I think I was supposed to read this at one point.
Yes, you were. Yeah.
I got distracted by the fact that house looks so familiar. And
okay, go ahead.
Which just goes to show anything will distract us. Well, it has been a tourist attraction for diehard Stephen King fans. No surprise there. King's Home. I want to say that there's been like road trips where diehard fans have like got piled into a car and made like a pilgrimage to Maine to see Stephen King's house. Anyway, King's Home in Bangor, Maine is about to become an official destination. How does this make it? Never mind. I'm getting off track again. King and his wife, Tabitha, requested to rezone their home as a nonprofit to house an archive of King's work. The Bangor City Council approved the request, according to Rolling Stone. Rolling Stone is a celebrity and music magazine, is it not? Why is it reporting on a published author?
I don't even know.
I think like many things that start out specialized, they just kind of over time devolve into general shit. Kind of like my show.
Okay. Yeah. Visitors will be able to view King's archive through restricted appointments. Okay, now I'm starting to think that this is all just a sneaky plot by a serial killer. Up to 5 writers at a time will be able to use the home as a retreat to work.
5?
5.
How big is the house?
That must be a pretty big house.
Yeah, better, because a writer needs, like, solidarity, and having, like, 4 other guys just bumping into you on the way to the bathroom, that's not going to work out too well.
Well, I mean, it's a Stephen King idea, Decker.
You put 5 writers in that house, you got to put a bunch of cameras up, because this is going to be the new season of Big Brother.
Okay, I am actually a little bit curious now. The King family has been wonderful to the city of Bangor over time and have donated literally millions of dollars to various causes in the community. Ben Sprague, uh, a Bangor city councilor, apologies to Ben, whatever your name is, told Rolling Stone, preserving his legacy here in Bangor is important for this community. The town of Bangor, Maine, was the inspiration behind the fictional town of Derry, Maine, where Stephen King's novel It takes place.
Oh, yes. We already know about that, don't we?
Yeah.
Really? Maine was inspired by Maine?
I wasn't referring to that. I'm saying, like, we know all about how many times that
boy.
Stephen King would use
God's Ultron,
Maine.
I tried to change that. I guess I'm gonna go fix that. On Twitch, he's saying, Decker Shadow, you know the subtitle for this episode is called Duke Nukem 3D 20th Anniversary World Tour? I told it podcasts and talk shows, but I guess I gotta go there to fix that.
Mm-hmm.
But
Sorry.
Part of the fun of this show is just how many technical difficulties there'll be throughout. But yeah, like, I don't know. This is kind of weird, but also kind of interesting because I'm like, a part of me kind of wonder. I'm like, would I do this if I had the money to? Like, if I was able to afford this, would I do this? Would I go and write something in the same house that Stephen King has lived in for the past, how long now? Like, it's been at least 2-3 decades. I want to say that this is where he was living when he had his famous accident where he was hit by he was hit by a van, I think, and nearly died.
Oh, lovely.
This is a weird level of Duke Nukem.
Duke Nukem. That's going to be our 50th episode of Live and Wired, isn't it? Episode 50, Duke Nukem, possibly.
They did announce that Duke Nukem 20th Anniversary is finally coming to Switch, like 2 days after I got it for PlayStation 4.
Of course.
Yeah.
But to be fair, I got it for $5 on PS4, and I'm pretty sure the Switch version is going to be like 30. Because normal price is 20, so the Switch version will be 30.
Lovely.
And they probably still won't put in gyro aiming. Bastards.
Lone Dragon's asking, creepy, what's for dessert?
Mountain Dew.
There you go. Mountain Dew.
I know we got... Okay, so is it just when the jar is not visible on OBS that things don't drop into it? Because we got the $20 super chat, so I'm like, wait, that should be some gold bars in that jar. Where are they? They're not there. Bothers me.
Kamel G. Unet says, creepy Patricia Decker, greetings from Poland to you guys. Love you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Very, very much.
Reminds me, my grandfather's Polish. And I remember a Christmas song. I think it was Polish. I'm not sure, but it was a very odd little Christmas song. It was Ding Ding Pajtropa Jeża. The patrol car's coming. The police.
Oh.
Ding Ding Pajtropa Jeża. Ding Ding Pajtropa Jeża.
Okay.
Well, if you think about it, a lot of songs that are sung by little kids are kind of disturbing when you put some
like Ring Around the Rosies.
Ring Around the Rosies, yeah, it's about the Black Plague.
Yes.
This is me in a schoolyard, and the body count rising. Oh, boy.
Yep. That would be Decker. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So what do you guys think? If I had the money, should I try and go? Should this be
I would so do that with you.
So should this be our next new thing, like to try and raise money to go to the Stephen King house?
To write something.
Something.
You can write a novel and I'll write something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he can write the introduction and maybe the special thanks. Motorcycle US gave us $2 again, saying, Decker, use your ring fit to play Nukem.
Oh god.
It's like
that when you do the mighty kick engage, you actually have to straight up kick with the Joy-Con tied to your leg. You just like, okay, fighting everything. I gotta shoot this guy. Oh boy. It's not doing animation for super chats. That is a problem.
Oh, and now Motorcycle says US says now it is.
Oh, okay.
We're sorry for the technical difficulties, everyone.
I know what I'm doing.
All right, so let's go over to our
next bit of surreal estate.
Yes.
Yes, the next bit of surreal estate. So the Addams Family movie just came out recently, and a lot of people have given it an overwhelmingly response of
right. Sorry.
Go ahead.
Cartoon Man 154 says Ring Around the Rosie apparently isn't about the Black Death, and it's like, yeah, I think it's what was it? It's like the flu or something.
I mean, I do know that like the ring around the Rosie is supposed to be like like the little round like spotty things that you would get around your body, and then
it's about some kind of disease.
It is about, and then the pocket full of posies would be like the flowers of somebody who died. Ashes is either like a chew or like literal ashes, and then we all fall down as we did.
Yeah.
I thought I just tripped. Like, well, that was inconvenient. I better stand up again.
Decker's ghost is wandering around and is like, oh crap, am I dead again?
Jane Furston asks, Decker, that was like Thigh Master meeting improve your bust.
Well,
thank you for that.
It's the dang ring con. It's how you use it. I have been fighting like kettlebells that have ears that come together and that try to kill me, and it's like, okay, this one, it's blue, so leg moves work on it. I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna do some. I'm just gonna sit back here. I'm just gonna put the thing between my legs, and here we go. Yeah, you're feeling that, aren't you? Yeah, kicking the ass. Yeah. I'm defeating them with Thigh Master powers.
Legs.
Any chance of covering the Species sequels? Pretty good one, just not this year. I've got a lot of things lined up this year, and not that.
None of which are Power Rangers yet.
I have that. I just need to figure out when in November. If it's not November, it's not this year, just so you know.
Oh, no. Roberto...
Weren't we supposed to be figuring something out about that back in, like, February?
Yeah, I think so. Roberto Iglesias Sanchez says, live and wired. Sorry, we're experiencing some technical difficulty. It's going to be our next episode. Live and wired, episode 50. Sorry, we're experiencing technical difficulties. And you're just going to have a blank screen for 2 hours.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Maybe a jar of mayonnaise. Who knows?
Or at least I've taken the title card, so yeah.
Sir not appearing in this film.
What was it? We were talking about the Addams Family.
Yes, the Addams Family. So the Addams Family just came out recently, and it's gotten overwhelmingly response of meh. And a lot of people saying, I know it's really sad because I was looking forward to it, by the way. But a lot of people are just like giving it mediocre reviews, saying it's too safe. It doesn't really push the edge of what the Addams Family represents, which really sucks, by the way, because I was actually planning on seeing it this weekend. I actually saw Abominable last weekend.
You mean they never actually kill anybody in the movie?
I guess not. That sucks.
Addams Family had a body count.
Exactly. Exactly.
Just like Spider-Man, huh?
No, Japanese Spider-Man, yes.
What, does Uncle Ben not count?
Tokusatsu Spider-Man, he's not very good at his job.
Oh, no!
He will die a lot.
Wow. Okay, I didn't expect that. So thank you. But no, the reason why I'm talking about the because I suppose in honor of the upcoming of the movie that was like announced, I guess they decided to have once again a very special house dedicated to the Addams Family. So with that, we're going to our second bit of the Surreal estate with you can spend the night in the Addams Family mansion this Halloween. So this is what it looks like. And here we have the gate and the fireplace with the polar bear. And Decker's turn to read this time.
With the Addams Family animated movie now playing in theaters near you and
right.
Halloween right around the corner, are you feeling the spooky, festive vibes? Hope so, because that's the entire article. Okay. If yes, there's something that requires your attention. The Addams Family Mansion is now expecting visitors this fall, and you're invited. Also, unrelated, here's a picture of a random townhouse in Trenton. Morticia's gothically gorgeous mansion is situated in Clinton Hill, Brooklyn, New York, and available for you to book overnight for the best possible Halloween getaway. Even though the real Addams house was a museum, this is an exact replica that will fill you with nostalgia and make you feel as if you are actually living in the real Addams mansion. Or at least in the real Addams mansion. The living part's not necessary.
Yeah, true.
In honor of the newest animated Addams Family feature film debuting on October 11th, Booking.com invites you to book a real-life replica of the iconic Halloween family's home for the ultimate creepy, kooky, mysterious, and spooky, altogether ooky experience. Reads the house's listing on Booking.com.
Mm-hmm.
They were then sued for copyright infringement.
Oh, goody.
This 3-bedroom, 3,700 square foot 19th century era townhouse is located in historic Clinton Hill, Brooklyn, captures all the macabre that has made the Addams Family a fan favorite for decades. Guests will be able to tinker with machines in Pugsley's room, play with Wednesday's beheaded doll in the living room, and even care for some of Morticia's carnivorous plants. Decorated in true Addams Family fashion, there are vases of just rose stems, and yes, Lurch's famous You Rang bell. Careful not to get too spooked if Thing appears while exploring the home. The experience comes complete with spooky snacks, a screening of the feature film, branded amenities, and more, it adds. Doo-doo-doo. Sounds too good to be true, too expensive to afford. It isn't! At $101.10, that's a very specific-ass number, per night, you can secure one night. Well, yes, in the Addams Family Mansion. Bookings open on October 28th at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Did they really mean that? Because we're technically on daylight time now, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay. With 4 exclusive overnight stays occurring each night from October 29th until November 1st.
Wait, that's it? Only just 3 nights? Huh.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it. It's like, for the Halloween season, and I know it's to promote the Addams Family movie that's in theaters right now, but... Wow. Okay.
That's
sure.
a lot to put in for a very, very, very small window to use it.
Yes.
Yes, it is.
I mean, just because Halloween will be over doesn't mean that people aren't going to want to keep renting out these places. Just saying.
Yeah, I mean, we have Christmas in July, so, there's that.
Right.
Kat says the 10101 is because that's the address, but wasn't it not 10101, but it was 10110?
Yeah, I want to say.
Maybe.
I mean, the price they have there is 10110.
Maybe they just wanted to round a nearest number or something. I don't know. All right, then. So those are the discussion.
We could be a little more faithful to the source material, but I need my 9 cents.
So... I have a confession to make.
Yeah,
there is an 11-year-old inside of me right now that is skipping at the thought of being able to do this.
Okay, so we gotta stay at the Stephen King place and write a novel, and we gotta spend some time at the Addams Family place. Well, we gotta do that real soon.
Yeah, you have to do it now.
Damn it.
Right. When I was a little kid, I didn't want to run away and join the Brady Bunch. I wanted to run away from home and be a member of the Addams Family. I had a feeling I would fit in a lot better there.
Feed the Swag Pig 5 asks, Decker, what's your favorite Battlefield game? I'm going to sound like an old frickin' fogey here, because I really haven't played any of the recent Battlefield games, but I do have a favorite Battlefield game. Secret Weapons of World War II.
Okay.
Nothing like being a Nazi with a jetpack. That might have came out wrong. Okay, nothing like shooting Nazis with jetpacks. There we go.
Okay.
Okay.
Slightly better.
Anthony Watson asks, "Hey Decker, can you do a fall of the do a fall of the Addams Family?" Say.
They're awesome.
Everything for the end of the year is pretty well booked. Got a nice Dino-cember coming up. Got to figure out where in the hell to fit a couple of happy, friendly family features in November. It's the family month.
It's the family month.
Yeah.
Still on Decker's channel?
Well, I mean, one of them's technically a family feature, but it's got some real creepy shit in it. If I could find it. Where the hell did I put it?
Oh, I knew it, Decker. I knew you were going to tackle Are You Afraid of the Dark eventually.
Where the hell is the... Here it is. There it is.
Detective Pikachu. We were talking about that in Live and Wired a while back, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of, very quickly, I did watch the first part 1 of the new Are You Afraid of the Dark, Patricia?
I watched them all.
Yeah. So, I haven't gotten around to watching the other 2 parts yet because I have been super busy this week.
I understand.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to play the new Plants vs. Zombies. Afraid Nuts. I want to continue on Duke Nukem 3D, though I might be playing some Outer Worlds.
Okay, that sounds cool. Now people are suggesting in the chat about like family-friendly things to
the first Land Before Time. Oh, that is absolutely just soul-crushing.
The Brave Little Toaster. Yeah. Those would be great choices. Absolutely. You know, I actually learned an interesting fact the other day. Not the other day. Last year when I did the Land Before Time podcast with the cartoon hero, that the original name of Littlefoot was Thunderfoot. And if you actually read the lip flaps of some of the characters, like in the early scenes, they're actually saying Thunderfoot as opposed to Littlefoot, even though that in the narration it says Littlefoot. I guess they decided to change the name at the last minute. I don't know if it was like maybe they thought Thunderfoot was a little too frightening for kids, or maybe it was like a legal issue, very similar to like Mrs. Brisby on The Secret of Nim was originally Mrs. Frisbee for Mrs. Frisbee and the Rats of Nim, which again, you can actually read the lip flaps and they actually clearly say Frisbee as opposed to Brisby. Mm-hmm. So I guess maybe that's it's actually pretty interesting.
Right.
Yeah, and the 2 writers of that, they also wrote the American Tail. Did you know that they were writers on Sesame Street? Yeah. No. Tony Geis and Judy Freeberg. They wrote for Sesame Street around the late 80s, and they also wrote for Follow That Bird as well.
Interesting. I mean, just because someone writes for children doesn't mean that they that's all they do.
No, exactly.
The guy who plays
Wolfwine on Twitch is asking, wait, people actually wrote Sesame Street? I'm thinking. I was a kid. I just thought that they went to Sesame Street, brought the camera. I don't know. Don't these people do it?
Yes. It's all improv. That's what it is. Be cameras around Sesame Street, and they're just recording whatever they're doing. It's like the Truman Show, but for Sesame Street.
Okay, now I'm imagining a version of the Truman Show, but with puppets.
Oscar would be so pissed off if he found out his life was just a TV show.
Yeah, like if you have the TV producer was say something, Oscar. You're on TV. You're live to the whole world. And then Oscar would just look at him and he will just simply stare into the abyss saying, scram. And then the lid would shut down and show would be over.
Yeah, that would be it.
Patrick Johnson says, Patricia is drowning us in Don Bluth trivia. Send help. I'm sorry. I guess people don't like that. I'll stop.
Well, hey, look at it. It happened before. It happened with Dragon Ball. It happened with Stephen King, and now it's happening with Don Bluth. Like every time there's like an exit onto away from of what we're supposed to be talking about tonight. We just take off for it. It's
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the main subject of tonight's show is houses, so that gives you an idea of how interesting the news is this week.
Yeah, it's pretty slow this week again. Like,
Right.
I mean, you would think that there'll be something interesting going on, but no, not really. We just only have like bits of news here and there. But I guess we might as well talk about that because
I mean, the new
nobody's
horror
interested.
movie that I went out to watch for a reaction review was about a cell phone app.
Oh, well,
Yay!
Yay! That sounds fun.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess we can. I guess to break up the Don Bluth facts. So I'm sorry, everybody. I guess we can go to some more interesting news. So let's go over to a little bit more video games. Now, this one I actually found to be pretty interesting. So there is a dentist who is a dedicated gamer, and he had bought a lot of money's worth of retro video games that were incredibly rare. Now, I'm sure that, I don't know if you guys actually looked at the article, did you? No? Well, that's good because
I'm waiting to see what else Decker will do for it with his face.
That's okay. That's good because I actually want you to guess how much money this guy spent on video games.
Oh, well, that was in the title.
I know, but
I did look at the news sheet.
Yeah. So okay, I guess might as well not do that. So yeah, so this guy, so there's this article about how much money this guy spent, and he spent, I'm not even joking here, $1.2 million. A dentist spent on rare video games.
Mm-hmm.
So let's read about it, shall we?
Okay.
So here we go. Dentist acquires treasure trove of games for $1.02 million US. A dentist named Eric Neimerman sunk a cool US $1.02 million on some first edition sticker sealed games in September.
Ooh.
The Washington Post reported today. It was one of the biggest money sales in gaming history. Neimerman picked up 40 factory sealed Nintendo games in the $1 million haul, all of which were assembled by 3 Denver-based collectors who took 52 years to amass them. Wow, that's a long time. In addition to the large size of the purchase, many of the games are to be believed to be the only copies of existence or one of the very few copies. The games include 1986's Mario Brothers arcade version and the only known sealed copies of 1985's Golf, 1986's Balloon Fight, and 1986's Gumshoe. According to the Post, some experts consider it to be one of the foremost collections, both in terms of overall value and rarity. Neimerman used to collect baseball cards, writes the Post, which added, It took far too much money to buy a single card, and he was looking to form a collection that could rank as one of his best in the world. Neimerman made the purchase with the help of a collector group that, in a creative twist, called themselves the Video Game Club. How creative. Kotaku had previously reported on deep-pocketed collectors are fueling a retro games gold rush. You can read the story there.
Oh, no.
No, what?
No
What?
gold rush on retro game. No. That's going to lead to even more collector's editions. And then people are going to be starting thinking, hey, video games might be worth a shitload later on. And they're going to buy all these collector's editions. And then they're going to try and get the return on their investment. And they're going to find out it's worth like $5 because you're trying to sell a collector's edition of frickin' Madden.
That's usually how it is. I used to work in a warehouse. I worked there for 5 years. And we got like a bunch of, bargain bin video games. And we used to put them all together because, they were worth absolutely nothing. And so like if you gather up a bunch of things together, maybe they'll be worth something. And the biggest amount of money that we've ever made with those like bargain bin video games were Nintendo GameCube games. Because it's very hard to pirate Nintendo GameCube games, and because some of them were poorly sold when they first were released, getting rare copies of them took a lot of money. Like, let's just, one time I remember this. we had like 30 GameCube games that we put together in a lot, including a Nintendo GameCube, a few controllers, and a Game Boy player, and a few wires. And we put them all together into this one lot for people to sell online. Somebody purchased it for $1,000.
Dang.
Yeah.
Wow, a Game Boy player is pretty nice. Not only the fact that you can play Game Boy Advance games on your TV, but it makes the GameCube an actual cube. Like, all the sides now even out.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. I remember when the...
Thick Black Daddy's asking, why am I not a part of this? I'm calling Obama. I have it all set up for the 3 cameras, but I wonder if I could get Thick Black Daddy in here. Or if that's not a good idea.
It's up to you, Decker. Yeah. Pudox says, you ever notice that some of the priciest collector games are unplayable? What was that fighting game with the guy from the Neverhood? Oh, I know what you're talking about. I'll have to look it up, but I know exactly what the game that you're talking about. There is a fighting game that does have him as a cameo, but I forgot what the name was. I'm going to look it up really quick. Let's see. Nevermore fighting game.
So,
yeah, I'm just gonna look it up really quickly.
What was the thing we were just talking about? I'm trying to remember.
We were talking about the dentist who spent $1.9 million.
Yes. Yeah. Now I'm thinking, like, if there's one thing that would absolutely completely wipe GameStop off the face of the earth completely, GameStop. Which freaking one is the store and which one's the website?
GameStop.
Okay, GameStop.
Yeah.
GameStop. One thing that would wipe them off the face of the earth completely would be a boon on selling collector's editions, and then they start getting in a whole bunch to try and sell, and then 4 or 5 years later, the market collapses entirely. That would be the final nail in that coffin. They would not recover from it.
Very true.
All true.
And also, I think that for the most part, when it comes to like purchasing these kind of games, I've seen this a lot when I was working at the warehouse over the years about like people would spend like hundreds upon hundreds of dollars so they could be able to get them. We had one time, just only once, where we had like a whole bunch of Super Nintendo games that nobody wanted, like Wheel of Fortune and Monopoly and stuff like that. Like,
right.
The games that you could like buy for $1 or something.
Right.
And then in that one, maybe we had like 3 games that a lot of people actually cared about. We put in Super Mario World, Donkey Kong Country, and Demon's Crest. Demon's Crest is incredibly rare and expensive because the game didn't sell very well, and I believe that there was some like critiques of it when it first came out because they thought it was like too difficult. It is based off of the Gargoyle's Quest series of video games that is a spin-off of the Ghosts and Goblins series.
Oh, yeah, so that it was it was born.
Yeah.
It's like, you play Dark Souls. Ain't that special? You merely adopted the difficulty.
Right. So, long story short, the bunch of Super Nintendo games plus those couple of games, $500. Yeah.
Dang.
I know, right? I mean, what people would do so that they can be able to, purchase, crap just so that they can be able to get some good stuff. I mean, it's like,
Metaluna Zombie says, Patricia is slightly delayed compared to the other two, so they can quickly censor her swear words if she says one. Decker has a big red button which mutes her mic at that exact time. Absolutely, it's not just technical difficulties. No. Patricia she's a sailor, okay?
I guess I am a sailor. I think I found the game. I think it's called Boombots. I think that's what it's called. Yeah, so Boombots, I think, is the fighting game that Clayman was in. Clayman is the guy from Neverhood, by the way.
Ah.
And no, I rarely swear, by the way. I mean, the only time in which I do is when I get really, really angry. But yeah, I usually don't. So I'm very, once again, I even mentioned this in the last episode of Live and Wired. I apologize for the slowness and the stuttering. I live in a small rural town where I get barely good Wi-Fi, and it just so happens to be raining. So
Oh, joy.
yeah, so if I'm stuttering all this time and you hate it, say like get this person out of the chat, I'm sorry. So
Mixer chat's firing up questions as to whether or not I care about them. The answer is no.
Mhm.
I mean, yes. It comes out wrong all the time. It's just try to keep things mostly on topic, even though we don't. I don't know. Things just go all kinds of ways. But there's a lot of chat going on in YouTube and on Mixer and on Twitch. Though this is also connected to the Restream chat's also connected to Periscope, and for some reason nothing's come through on that. So I don't know.
Patrick Johnson says, I think I found a copy of NBA Street that was being sold for $100 one. That was weird. That is weird. It's not like a rare game or anything like that.
See, I remember. I think the rarest game I owned was Panzer Dragoon Saga. But I paid $50 for it because I bought it at the store when it came out.
The rarest thing that I own is when I purchased for around like $40 in Hot Topic like 15 years ago. It turns out that it's now worth like over $200 online because the DVDs have been out of print. And if I were to sell it, I mean, even though that my DVD is like scratched, but I'm sure that they still would want it just for a collector's item. They'll probably want it more because I've had my DVDs autographed over the years. So, I mean, I don't know how much that would be worth. I'm sure they'll probably be like, they don't care about that. They just want the DVDs. I don't know. But, yeah. What's the rarest thing that you own, Creepy?
The weirdest thing?
No, the rarest.
Oh, rarest thing. Okay, so you glitched just a little bit, so it came out.
I know. I'm sorry.
I'm not laying the blame on you. It's just explaining why I heard weird instead of rarest.
That's okay. That's okay.
I'm trying to think. I think the closest thing to a rare game that I own is I have an original PS1 copy of Legacy of Kain Blood Omen.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
that is
like from the original from the original PlayStation system that came out like back in '95. Yeah, I have an original PlayStation CD-ROM of Legacy of Kain Blood Omen, the entire game, which I found at a place called Game Exchange. There used to be one in a town near where I live. It was open for several years, and then one day it was just gone. It just, I went there, I hadn't been back for a little while, and then one day I went there and the place had been shut down completely. It was really disappointing, to be honest with you. But I found it on a shelf there one day, and I was like I had seen the game before. I was over at a friend's house, and they had found a copy of it at I think a pawn shop or something.
Oh so wow!
So this was years and years ago. This would have been.
No, I know. I'm just looking at the price of what it's worth now, and wow. I mean, a new copy of Legacy of Kain Blood Omen, $195.
Oh wow! Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing that I found was kind of odd was when I was looking for my copy of a movie, Gamera the Brave. Because I wanted to show it to Charlie. I couldn't quite find it right away, and I'm like, it's Gamera the Brave. I'll spend like $7 and get it again, whatever.
Yeah.
Except it's not $7. They evidently didn't make that many of those. So I was like, that's. I eventually found the file on my external hard drive that I had ripped before. But if I can ever find that Blu-ray again, evidently it's worth a good amount of money.
I guess it does make a lot of sense that it would be the case, especially since those DVDs of the kaiju films are starting to get up there in prices nowadays. I think that even some of the monsters that were even featured there, they used to be public domain, but because there's like distribution rights and all that kind of stuff, that's restoration, they're no longer in the public domain. So it kind of makes it a little bit harder to get in a cheaper price.
Mm-hmm. But I have wondered. Thank you, Patricia. I have wondered before. From time to time, it would dawn on me that I still had that game, and I would be like, I wonder how much is that like worth anything? And I was like, turns out it is. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's get back on track. So what's the poll for this week?
Yes. In the topic of Surreal Estate and all of the lovely, lovely horror houses you can stay in or rent or use we have houses, it's horrifying and such. Which horror hotel would you sleep in?
Ooh.
And we've got the choices. Now, a lot of these are video games because they haven't really been covered too much in actual hotels. They build hotels for movies, and then they're like, yeah, what are we going to do with that now? Yeah, I'll let people stay. So that actually does happen. So we wanted ones that didn't really happen so much. So we went more for games here, but there's still a little movie in here.
Yeah.
Number one, of course, Luigi's Mansion.
Yeah.
Would you stay in Luigi's Mansion? It's kind of like Super Mario World over in Universal Studios Japan, except it's trying to scare you, except it's not trying to scare you.
Right.
Choice the number two, the Resident Evil Mansion. Pretty swanky digs. Not too bad. Bathroom might be a little stuck up. And, of course, watch out for the undead that are going to try and kill you.
And don't forget about the giant spiders and the crocodiles and all that stuff.
Now, if all this sounds just far too pleasant and you just want to be tormented constantly, then we have the right thing for you with the Dead Space Station.
Yeah!
The necromorphs aren't nearly the only problem. The place is probably going to be cold, you'll be sleeping on a metal slab, it's going to be all kinds of pain in the ass. Just the experience you want. And if you want even more torture, well then, you're in luck. The last option is to stay at the party house from Hellraiser Hellworld. Nothing but torture, nothing but regret. On Twitter, @DeckerShadow, 30 minutes starting now.
I can think of one even worse than that. Stay with the family from Hellraiser Revelation.
But they're not like a hotel per se.
That's true.
I mean, if that were to be the case, then we would have chosen like, hey, stay.
I didn't catch that.
The house from Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Right.
Which you could actually visit the gas station from Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which we actually did discuss about.
Right.
So now I know where I'm going to fill up during the road trip to Maine.
So Decker's going to head east through Texas to come pick me and Patricia up, and then we'll head north up along the East Coast to Maine to stay at Stephen King's place for a weekend or something.
Yep.
Uh-huh. Actually, I have a friend who lives in Philadelphia, so if we really did do this, I would be able to stop by and I would, in theory, be able to say hello to him while I was there.
Same here. I would definitely say hello to my friend, too.
I got family there.
There we go. We have a reason to go to Philadelphia. I used to live there, by the way.
Oh, I did not know that. Okay.
Yeah. I lived there the first 6 years of my life. I was there from like the age of 3 through 9, and lived in a very nice area in Philadelphia. I haven't been there in ages. I remember like weekends. I used to visit like the Valley Forge, area, and then we used to go over to the log cabins that they used to have over there and learn about all its history. Mm-hmm. It was very interesting.
Right.
So let's see what we have. Now people are... Miserable Mortician says, would the Bates Motel count also? We should have said the Bates Motel.
I was waiting for that one. I didn't know that Decker had all 4 of them picked out yet, and I was waiting to hear the Bates Motel.
Okay, the Mixer guys are absolutely demanding an answer, but I have no idea what of, because the question was asked while I was reading out the Twitter poll. So...
Oh man. Roberto Iglesias Sanchez says, "Don't remind me of Revelations. I destroyed that film." I'm sorry.
But we could someone please repeat the question for Decker because he did not hear it, unfortunately.
Yes, please do
Just
so.
repeating answer over and over again.
Okay. All right, let's go over to our next bit of news. So
Yes.
this one, I want Creepy to read this one because I want to know about his thoughts on it. So last year on my podcast, Creepy and we discussed about Hocus Pocus, and we actually did know that there was a book that was a sequel to Hocus Pocus. Mm-hmm. And we didn't get a chance to read it, but I guess it's not going to matter anymore. Disney.
Okay.
They're going to.
The question: how much is a Flying Scott pinball machine?
Flying Scott?
Flying Scott.
Have absolutely no idea, but I'm thinking like we're talking about like actual pinball machines, like with actual pins and like all kinds of stuff. Because a lot of classic pinball machines are really expensive collector's items. They were relatively fragile, all things considered. They were very popular, but a lot of them were just destroyed after the big pinball craze was no more. And they're not the kind of things you could just easily put back together.
Right.
So if I had to hazard a guess, I would probably go to about Flying Scott. I have no idea what that is, so it's probably rare.
I got it right here.
I would go to the $370,000 range, I would assume. I don't know.
I was going to say...
I'm actually going to pull it up on the screen so you can see what it looks
Depends on the condition, of course, but...
Right.
Yeah.
But pinball machines are not cheap. I really love... I have a copy of...
And of course, it was an authentic vintage...
I found it already, Tucker, so here we go. A Flying Scott vintage pinball machine from the 1930s, and it's yours for $2,338.95.
It's a small little toy one. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not a full size like. All right, so now that I know what we're talking about, for that size, still $2,300.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a bit much.
That's a lot. But yeah, I have a copy of, I think it's Pinball 3D, but it has like many different pinball games. I play that game just to relax sometimes because I love playing pinball. I'm not very good at pinball, but I still have fun playing it.
See, I like pinball on the Virtual Boy, mainly because it was trying to see if I could pass the high score before my eyes melted out of my skull.
Wasn't that pinball game supposed to be like a Metroid game because there was a reference in like if you were to shoot a few points that they did have like the.
I never got that far.
No, nobody would. Like, how do you do that? It's like if you reach like a certain score, like the Screw Attack logo would be right there on the pinball machine.
Oh, so right, that's right. Screw Attack is Metroid. I keep it in like. Wait, I was thinking like what? Just Stuttering Craig and Handsome Tom. What?
Yeah, Stuttering Craig and Handsome Tom started around the late '90s in Nintendo. Yes.
Yeah, I do know that Sonic had his own pinball game, Sonic Spinball.
We do not talk about that game.
Jack Brand saying, fun fact, Elvis died on his toilet. Think of how much that last turd would be worth today. I think it was about 30 pounds worth in him backed up.
Oh,
it was not a good thing. The peanut butter, bacon, fried sandwiches, just say no. Just say no to peanut butter and bacon.
Yeah. He was going through a rough time.
Well,
with the drugs and all that.
Yeah. Anyway, go on.
Hocus Pocus, yes.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Topics. We have them.
Yes.
So, yeah, Creepy and we discussed about Hocus Pocus last year on my podcast. And we briefly talked about that there was a book of Hocus Pocus. And then I was saying the punchline is like, we don't need to worry about that because Disney Plus has announced that they're going to make a sequel to Hocus Pocus because, of course, they are. At this point in time, why wouldn't they? Whether it's based off of the book, I don't know. So let me just pull it up really quick. So yes, here it is. Exclusive Hocus Pocus. Moving forward at Disney Plus with writer Jen D'Angelo. So yeah, the sequel, the one sequel that you've always wanted, coming out over 26 years later, is going to be happening.
Are they going to get the original? Are they going to get the original trio to play the characters though? That's my first question.
I think it says it in the article.
Okay. Jen D'Angelo, who served as writer and co-producer on Workaholics, has been hired to write the script for Hocus Pocus 2, which is in the works at Disney Plus, Collider has exclusively learned. Okay, right off the bat, I'm wondering, is this going to be like a direct sequel, like where it features, like, not the same kid actors, obviously, but playing, like, you know, like it's the same characters, though? Or is this going to be like, since it's 26 years later, have them play like their descendants or something? That's the first thing that comes to mind. But anyway, the original Hocus Pocus may not have cast a spell on the box office when it hit theaters back in 1993, but the film has endured over the years to become something of a cult classic, which is odd for me because I remember Disney advertised the hell out of that movie like when it first came out. And there was also like, I remember there were like promos of it showing interviews with the, Bette Midler and so forth, and how this was like one of the most fun that she had in a movie in years. So sources say that D'Angelo has been tasked with finding a way to bring back the original cast of Bette Midler as Winifred, Sarah Jessica Parker as Sarah, and Kathy Najimy as Mary. None of them are attached at the moment, but the studio is hopeful that they'll be involved with the sequel in some capacity. Since the project is still in early development at Disney's forthcoming streaming service, it remains unclear whether they'll be the main characters or whether we'll see them pass the proverbial torch to a new generation of witches. Kenny Ortega directed the original from a script by Mick Garris and Neil Cuthbert, based on a story by Garris and David Kishner, the latter of whom produced alongside Stephen Haft, Omni Katz. Omni Katz played the young male lead of Max, and he was joined in Salem by Thora Birch, Vanessa Shaw, and Doug Jones. And I remember we talked about this in the podcast. It was going to be a Disney Channel original movie.
Yes.
But they decided to move it over to Touchstone because they thought there might be enough potential for it to be a theatrical release around Halloween.
Right.
D'Angelo served as writer-producer on the Fox sitcom LA to Vegas and the CBS sitcom Happy Together. And she was also credited as an associate producer on last year's action comedy Game Over Man on Netflix. D'Angelo is also an actress who played the recurring character of Veronica on the Facebook series Loosely Exactly Nicole. Okay. She's represented by UTA, Artist First, and Ginsberg Daniels Kylis. For a complete list of Disney Plus offerings, click here. The streaming service launches on November 12th, so cancel your plan.
We're not.
Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, we're not being paid to promote Disney Plus, so we're not going to go that far.
We'll get to Disney Plus in just a minute. We'll have another news article about that. But anyway, I was actually going to mention that we did discuss about the book briefly from when we were able to read the synopsis, that it focuses on Max and Allison's daughter named Poppy, who, due to like crazy antics, resurrected the Sanderson sisters again. So,
following in Daddy's footsteps of not paying attention when you are warned to avoid meddling in the dark arts.
Yuck. Yes. So I'm actually curious about if they're actually going to stick to this book or if it's going to go into a completely different direction, which I don't know.
That is a good question, because the movie was kind of its own entity, but a part of me is curious about this. Like, there's always going to be the part of me that thinks this will never be as good as the original, but at the same time, I'm like, still, I should probably give this a chance.
Sure.
But I'm like, I think a smart thing to do at this point, just considering how many, many years ago it has been since the original Hocus Pocus hit theaters and then later VHS. Most people listening probably don't know what those were. They were like Blu-rays, except they were big and clunky and they broke. Or sometimes got stuck in the VCR, which is a whole other can of worms. But anyway, I actually do think that, making it like the daughter, so the child of the original characters, like this being a thing, rather than trying to say, well, it's 1994, 95, or whatever instead of 1993. Although, Stranger Things did, set its own series in the 80s, and
Right.
and a lot of people have said that's part of the fun of Stranger Things is just the nostalgia of seeing all of the 80s pop culture play out in front of the screen. So
Yeah,
maybe
exactly.
making a sequel to
It's just that
Hocus
the
Pocus.
80s of people in the 80s aren't nostalgic for the 50s, though.
Well, remember
I mean,
in the 90s when people were nostalgic for the way the 70s were depicted, and people in the 90s were nostalgic for the 50s, but not the actual 1950s, the way the 50s were depicted in Greece,
right. That's why that 70s show was like.
And that was also why bell-bottom trousers came back into style for like a hot minute. I want to say it was like in 98, 99. You saw people
Right. That was when the show was out.
Bell-bottom trousers. And I remember I saw that one time and I was just like, the hell did I just see?
Yeah. See, I'm attending school again, and I'm surrounded by students who are like way younger than I am. And a lot of, and the 90s style has actually come back. When I was registering for class the first time last year, a lot of they were giving away fanny packs to students, and they loved it. This is not a joke. And they would be wearing like jean jackets, overalls, and all that kind of stuff. So and also the themed shirts for our school. One of them is based off of A Different World in Martin. So 90s are coming back, man.
John Washburn is saying Grease is from the early 60s. Now all this talk of Grease is just put in my mind that thing that just this video Charlie had up here on her Facebook that she was just laughing at, and I've been laughing at for like months every time we remember it. It's like, tell me more, did you get very far? Tell me more, does he look like a bitch?
I'm waiting for Bart Simpson t-shirts to come back into style. You're talking about. I'm waiting for Bart Simpson shirts that say "Don't have a cow" or "Cowabunga" or
"I caramba," "Eat my shorts."
Eat my shorts. Yeah, I want to see those come back into style again.
I remember the one episode of The Simpsons where Lisa was like they were on vacation. Lisa had her new group of friends, and she was putting on a facade to try and impress them. And she was out there. She's like, "Don't have a cow, man." Bart's there with his mother. He's like, "See, that's mine. I say that." And she's like, "Oh, you haven't said that in 4 years."
I do remember that. I do remember that whole episode because that is one of my favorite episodes. A lot of the Lisa episodes from like the first 8 seasons were some of my favorite episodes. But I do remember that, and I do remember laughing the first time I ever heard that because it had been several years since Bart had said any of the cat's phrases that were so popular in the early 90s when The Simpsons were first beginning to get real big. Yeah.
Right.
Oh man.
All right. Let's
have our next bit of spooky surrealistic.
Scary.
Yes. Let's go over to our next
housing.
Yes. I can hear your hinting loud and clear, Decker. Let's discuss about the last Surreal house. One that is claimed to be so scary that if you complete it, they will pay you $20,000. So let's discuss about that, shall we?
I actually talked about this on my Patreon live feed earlier today.
Oh, nice. So for those who didn't tune into that, you can get to hear it for the time. So, haunted house, so scary. They offer $20,000 to anyone who finishes. So there you go, Decker. It's your turn to read.
There are haunted houses, and then there is McKamey Manor. The Summertown, Tennessee attraction is so horrific that anyone brave enough to make it through will get themselves $20,000. This year's experience is called Desolation, and the Manor's owner promises a new level of extreme horror during it, but it's not for just anyone. Before visitors can go in the haunted house, they have to be screened via Facebook, video chat, or phone, pass a background check, undergo a drug test, prove they have medical insurance, sign a 40-page waiver, complete a physical, and have a doctor's note to prove they are physically and mentally fit for the fearful experience. The 2 guys they have left are allowed to go. They also have to watch a nearly 2-hour-long video that shows every contestant who has attempted to complete the manor since July 2017 quitting. It's because 100% of visitors don't finish the house that owner Russ McKamey is offering $20,000 to anyone who does. That's something that will be even harder with Desolation, because according to Russ, nobody's even made it to the starting clock with this new show. With the new mental game, it's much more difficult. The tour is actually free. Donation is suggested, but not required. But the manor has a warning for wannabe visitors. Each tour will be different based upon your personal fears and can last up to 10 hours. Each guest will be mentally and physically challenged until you reach your personal breaking point. You will be tested to your very core. They are not beyond waterboarding and slapping, and according to Russ, one person even had a heart attack during the experience. Fortunately, he signed the waiver, so he's in the clear. The manor, which has been described as one of America's scariest haunted houses, was profiled in a 2017 Netflix documentary. A Netflix documentary.
Documentary.
A Netflix documentary called Haunters. The
next
art of this
modification to Decker's TV tropes page will be how he can't pronounce documentary.
Called Haunters, the Art of the Scare, about modern horror attractions that aren't going to scare you, rather than they will scar you. If you are brave enough to give it a shot, you can contact Russ here, and there's a link. Goes right there.
Yeah, we're not doing it, by the way.
I would if I could, but the joiks are there like, hey, you know what you need? You need proof of medical insurance. Well, guess what I can't afford? Guess why I need the $20,000? I'd do it.
Right.
Hey, watch 13 Stephen King movies, get $1,300. I'd like that. Hey, go to this 10-hour haunted house that's specifically tailored to freak you out. Get through all 10 hours, you'll get $20,000. I'm like, that's like $2,000 an hour. Or nothing if you leave early, but still, that's a pretty good pay.
Yeah.
I'd do it. I feel like I could make it through. They can't do anything that would make me say, you know what, I really just don't need that money that bad. No, I need that damn money.
I think we all do. It's just a matter about like how desperate you are to get.
I'm extremely desperate and good at horror. I live and breathe this stuff.
Decker would go into the house and start criticizing everything. This was done better in this movie.
Oh, God. I've been to haunted houses, and I just... They don't do it for me. Now, the idea that they specifically tailor it to you is interesting. But I think the only thing they could do to make me really just walk out there is like, okay, we are really going to, for real, slowly torture and kill real puppies in front of you for 10 hours. I'm like, okay, fuck it, it's not worth $20,000. I'll leave the puppies alone, you're monsters. That's about it,
Right.
But it's not because I'm scared, it's because I give a damn about the damn puppies, okay?
Right.
There's also the fact that there's just not a lot of haunted houses in... I mean, like, attractions. They don't do this sort of thing in our state. What they have is hell houses. I don't know have either of you had this sort of experience before?
Not really, no.
Yeah, there are churches that will have, like, tours where you go through, and it's sort of like the Scared Straight program, that they would put teenagers through.
Oh, God. Oh.
Yeah.
Where the hell houses, you mean?
Yeah, that's what I said.
Oh, sorry, I wasn't paying attention. I was reading the chat. They're like, Decker would spend all $20,000 buying movies to review. Yeah.
That would be Decker, yeah.
But yeah, the hell houses is something else.
Orchid War 98. Watching many asylum That is pure. That is pure torture.
That they just sit me down and just put on shitty movies. Just shitty movies endlessly for 10 hours. You must sit here and watch shitty movies, and you'll have to be hungry and thirsty, thusty and hungersty. Yeah, you have to properly pronounce the word documentary.
Victor, what was the name of that? What was the name of that branch of Asylum that did those Christian movies?
Faith films.
Faith films, like 10 hours of nothing but faith films to watch. And his mouth is duct taped the whole time, so he can't make.
Oh, you cruel bastard!
Don't forget, Asylum.
You're cutting out, Patricia.
I said, don't forget, Asylum also does animated films.
Oh God.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they did like their crappy CGI one with the red-headed lady with the bow called Bravery. Like
yeah, it's like it's like a battle of between like worst animated companies ever. You have Video Benqueo or the Asylum animated company. So yeah, it's like digging through the bottom of the barrel to see like which is going to be the worst of the worst.
I love how when I went to the page for the thing, because I was gonna sign up until they were like, by the way, you need medical insurance. I'm like, I don't have money for medical insurance, you bastards. I'm fine. I'm 36 and I'm getting ring fit. I'm as fit as a fiddle. But I was looking through that and they're like, it will be terror. It will be pain. You must prove through boot camp that you are able to physically extremely make this. Also, we are wheelchair accessible. Like, okay, I can bring Charlie then.
Yeah. I mean, good for them, I guess. Yeah.
Sure.
But that would be, I've often thought that if I really, really wanted to torture Decker, that would be how I would do it. I would duct tape it. I would duct
tape my mouth shut and force me to watch shitty movies. Oh, yeah. The pain. The screaming will be forced to be internal and it will be so loud.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's go over to our... this is actually really interesting. I found this out. So last year we discussed about people's favorite horror movies depending on what state they lived in, and we were going over like films like.
I bet Texas was Texas Chainsaw Massacre because Texas loves Texas. It's just a thing.
Yeah,
we know we're the best. Fuck it.
I think that was the case. Yeah, and I think that
we got a comment on DLive from
nice.
Rizardi. He says, "O Brasil de manda porra." I have no idea what that means. I hope it was nice.
Thank you, assuming that was complimentary.
Motorcycle US gave us another watch Asylum for $200,000. Rent, but if you rent, you lose.
Like any time after? Because then I ain't getting that money. I'm going to talk about it.
That's the reason why I haven't used my approach on Decker. Is like I foresee one of two results. One, Decker will either explode from the sheer force of internalized rage, or the minute the duct tape is taken off of his mouth, there will be this shock wave that goes out, and I will be blown clear to Oz.
Bolfwine on Twitch says, gotta sign a lifetime NDA. Oh, boy.
Anyway, so I actually have the article right. So this time around, I was able to with a similar topic, but instead, it's favorite horror villains, depending on what state that you lived in. Oh. So I'm just going to click on that. So anybody want to guess before I actually reveal for like who's going to be like the best horror villain according to your state. So Decker, being Texas, what do you think it is?
I mean, there's a good chance for Leatherface just because, but Leatherface himself doesn't represent Texas. So I'm trying to think, is there a horror villain that more like embodies that spirit of freedom and cowboys and guns and murdering teenagers? Like,
All right. What do you think?
Maniac Cop.
Okay, I'll put that in. Maniac Cop. I don't have a pen.
Oh.
What about you, Creepy?
I've been sitting here scratching my head because I live in Mississippi, and I'm like, I mean, I don't know. I mean, there's plenty of horror in Mississippi, but it's like as far as movies go, it hasn't really hit mainstream status. But so I'm just gonna pick a personal favorite of mine. Like,
Sure.
I'm not saying that this is going to be the answer, but since most of Mississippi horror tends to be like religious extremism, racism, homophobia. So they're more real life horror. So I'm going to go with one that, and since, like I said, it's not that there aren't movies about that, but they're not like mainstream horror icons. So I'm going to go with a mainstream horror icon that I am actually a personal fan of. I'm going to say it's Freddy Krueger.
Okay.
And so Creepy said Main Street so many times it put the word Maine into my head, so I just got to say for Maine, probably Michael Myers.
Okay. So I'm just going to pull it up right now and let's say.
Hey, you didn't do yours. Oh wait, no, you had the list.
I can't. Yeah. I already know the answer.
Yeah, I still want to know what I still want to know what Alabama is, though.
I have no idea.
Both wine saying the one from Hatchet for Alabama, so that would be God, what was his name? Oh, I know who you mean. The guy played by Kane Hodder.
Right.
Yeah.
That'd be fitting, but here in Cali, I don't know what's ours is. My favorite is Jason.
Okay. All right, so let's see what we got.
Go for it, Patricia.
All right, so the most popular classic horror by state. Let me just scroll down.
Wind Farms!
No. It's not Wind Farms. It's the Charlie Angels trailer, damn it. Go away. I hate this, man. Okay, if our societal obsession with serial killers, ghost hunting, and all things Stephen King is any indication, we seriously love to be scared, and while innovative new films like 2019's Midsummer and 2017's Get Out give us plenty of fresh opportunities to shudder and shriek, we can't help but return to certain long-standing horror icons year after year to see which ones still haunt us our nightmares. FrontierBundles.com chose 12 of the most popular villains from horror movies released before 2000 and analyzed Google Trends data from the last year to see who is on top of each state.
Oh, so Maine is Pennywise. Dang it. Oh, Texas is Leatherface.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pennywise is Alabama.
Oh, wow. I get the creepy clown.
California got Chucky.
Yes.
Oh, Alaska has the Xenomorph. Damn, now I gotta move to Alaska.
Well, there's also Washington. Washington also has this.
Yeah, Washington's just shitty Alaska.
Is Chucky for Mississippi?
A lot of people from Washington are watching right now. Like,
yes.
you what, mate?
Okay. So of course we get the creepy doll.
And I have the creepy clown.
Yeah. I feel like we got the worst end of the stick, though.
Yeah, we did. Our state sucks.
But hey, Vermont's got Carrie.
There you go.
Huh?
And Maine has Pennywise, because of course it does!
And Pennsylvania has Jack Nicklaus.
And then we have Florida with Hannibal Lecter. West Virginia has Frankenstein.
Why Florida? I mean, why Hannibal Lecter in Florida?
Oh, I thought that was the Mummy. Oh, jeez.
No,
but see, you got Frankenstein right over there. I'm like, okay, looking at that, it's kind of blurry on my end. I'm like, Mummy? Okay.
Okay, so let's see. We have Ghostface in Georgia. Anyway, I'm just going to keep reading. Unsurprisingly, Stephen King dominated 20 states. 10 of those belong to The Shining's Jack Torrance. It's Pennywise who took 8 states, and Carrie's titular character was the most searched in 2, Vermont and Wyoming. Trailing Pennywise were Chucky from Child's Play franchise and Frankenstein's Monster, each won 6 states. Silence of the Lambs' Hannibal Lecter and the Texas Chainsaw Massacre series recurring killer Leatherface weren't far behind with 5 and 4 states, respectively. Rounding out the series were Alien, which is Xenomorph, Ghostface, Norman Bates, Count Dracula, and Freddy Krueger. They actually have a countdown of everything that they have so far. So Jack Torrance has Arizona, Colorado, Michigan. Let me see. Is it no, it's Missouri. Missouri. New. Was he? Nebraska. Nebraska, New York, Oregon, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, and Wisconsin. Pennywise has Alaska, Iowa, Idaho, Indiana, Maine, North Dakota, Utah,
phone.
and Virginia.
Stop phone.
Chucky has California, Illinois, Louisiana, Nevada, and New Mexico. Frankenstein's monster has Connecticut, Delaware, Massachusetts, New Jersey, North Carolina, and South Carolina. Hannibal Lecter has Florida. Let me see. I can't read this. It's a little too blurry. Hold on. Minnesota. That's what it is. I'm sorry. I need glasses. Florida, Minnesota, Montana.
We got a $2 super chat from Motorcycle US saying, "Creepy, sending you all the Chucky and Annabelle dolls."
Yeah, no.
New Hampshire and Oklahoma. Leatherface has Arkansas, Kentucky, Ohio, and Texas. And then the Xenomorph has Alaska, Kansas, and Washington. Carrie has Vermont and Wyoming. Ghostface has Georgia and Maryland. Norman Bates has Rhode Island and South Dakota. Count Dracula has Hawaii.
Hi.
And Freddy Krueger has West Virginia. And that's it. No Jason Voorhees, believe it or not. That's actually interesting. No Jason.
Freddy Krueger only had one spot. Damn, times have changed.
Yeah, and in West Virginia, of all things. And Dracula is sitting... Why? That's ironic, considering that he can't go into the sun.
The poll has completed.
Oh, yay. Let's get to the poll. I'm going to get it. All right, so what do we got?
All right, so... Oh, okay. I accidentally clicked on the drinking game tab for a second. I'm like, no, we're not doing that. For the Live and Wired poll, which horror hotel would you sleep in? We have an interesting blowout, tie, and one dead last that I wasn't anticipating.
Okay.
Okay.
So the least wanted horror hotel to sleep in, spend the night, was the Dead Space Station, coming in at only 8% of the vote with 66 votes.
Oh, wow.
So, necromorphs, they can only carry so much when you have to sleep on a metal slab with no sheets. It's like, yeah, this is a nice little spot, good place to visit, but you wouldn't want to stay there.
Yeah, there's something that we need called comfort.
Now, tied for second and third, but still with very little of the vote, coming in at only 12% each, is the Resident Evil Mansion and the Hellraiser Hellworld Party House.
Aw, I wanted the Resident Evil one to win.
So as many people are going to be just sleeping in the lap of luxury with the occasional giant snake going by, there's going to be just as many people just partying their life away, and then Pinhead's going to chop their fucking head off. Which means coming in at number one with a whopping 68% of the vote is Luigi's Mansion.
I guess it does make sense.
Hell, if you have any problems, you can just vacuum it away. So, I guess that works out.
Well, and also with Luigi's Mansion, it's in more people's minds nowadays.
Maxim Ghoul, the Night Hunter, says, Mansion because I'm least likely to die there, but Dead Space has a soft spot in my heart.
Oh, that's very nice. All right, so I guess we can go over to our next article.
Oh boy. At Fourth Echo says, me going into the Resident Evil Mansion and he's got a picture with, beard man with a revolver looking like Barry Burton. Like, middle-aged Barry Burton, but still. Longer beard, grayer hair, still has the revolver. A few zombie heads are going to explode, is what I'm saying.
And asking about Jill sandwiches.
Oh, God. Serve some Jill sandwiches. No. God damn it.
That's gonna be the main meal attraction in this mansion. Jill sandwiches. I'm amazing. All right, so let's go over to our next article. So now we can go back around discussing about Disney Plus. As mentioned earlier, that they're going to be doing the Hocus Pocus sequel. But for all of you Verizon owners, if you just so happen to have the unlimited wireless service on Verizon, you get the lucky privilege to have a 1-year free trial with Disney Plus. Yeah. So hold on. There we go. So sorry about that. Yeah, you get a 1-year free trial at Disney Plus for all the Verizon wireless owners. So I'm just going to pull it up on the screen right now. So, there we go. Verizon will give 1 year of Disney free to all unlimited wireless customers. So go ahead, Creepy.
Well, it doesn't tell me that they've been selling out too well. But...
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Verizon is giving away Disney Plus, the Mouse House's new streaming service debuting next month. Free for 1 year to all of its wireless customers on unlimited data plans under a broad new partnership between the two companies. When Disney Plus launches November 12th, the telco will begin offering 12 service to all new and existing 4G LTE and 5G unlimited wireless customers. In addition, Verizon will extend the same offer to new Fios broadband or 5G home wireless internet customers. Bleh, I can talk. After the 1-year promo pricing expires, Verizon customers will revert to the regular $6.99 monthly subscription price unless they cancel Disney Plus. So get your free year and then tell them to go screw themselves. The pack under Verizon is the exclusive U.S. wireless carrier partner for Disney Plus, should provide an immediate shot in the arm for Disney Plus initial subscriber count. Business terms of Verizon's free 1-year giveaway of Disney Plus aren't being disclosed, but it is assumed that the telco is paying the text kind of went blurry on me, sorry.
Hold on, I got it.
Thank you. Nah, much better. Per subscriber amount
Is
to the Mouse
Kanye
House.
West judging me?
Yes, I will assume yes.
Yeah, he judges us all.
Verizon says it has about 100 million total wireless customers and that about 50 million are on unlimited plans that are eligible for the free Disney Plus offer. So are like 50 million people going to get this, or is it just that out of this 50 million, there's going to be like a poll or something? So, like a lottery draw.
I have no idea. We have a $2 comment from Motorcycle US. Everyone, Dirty Harry working in Raccoon City. That should be interesting, actually.
Okay.
I'd watch that.
Sure.
While not commenting on the financial aspects, Ronan Doon, CEO of Verizon Consumer Group, said, "You can imagine that this is a joint approach from the two of us for the launch of Disney Plus." Well, yes, I could imagine that. Why would I not be able to? Disney Plus is the dedicated streaming home for movies and TV shows from all of the media's conglomerate brands, including Disney, Pixar, Marvel, and Star Wars. Star Wars is a franchise. Disney, Pixar, and Marvel are companies. Oh, mercy. In the first year, Disney Plus is slated to release more than 25 original series and 10 original films and documentaries, including The Mandalorian from executive producer and writer Jon Favreau. And
that's the Mandalorian is that Star Wars.
Hello?
I said the Mandalorian is the Star Wars series.
Right. Okay. And Lady and the Tramp, a remake of the 1955 animated film. The Disney Plus service will also be the exclusive subscription streaming service for films released by Disney.
Sorry.
I lost my place. Released by Walt Disney Studios in 2019 and beyond, including Captain Marvel, Avengers Endgame, Aladdin, Toy Story 4, The Lion King, Maleficent, Mistress of Evil, Frozen 2, and Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker, along with a slew of Disney library titles. The launch of Disney Plus kicks off a new era of streaming for the Walt Disney.
Okay, all right.
Walt Disney Company, bringing nearly a century's worth of content from iconic studios to consumers directly. Kevin Mayer, chairman of Disney's direct-to-customer and international segment, said in a statement, "Damn, these people need shorter titles." Hang on a second. I
think that I think we're good for now.
We got an idea. Getting Disney Plus with a subscription to Verizon's unlimited data.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
Data. I don't know how to pronounce anything, so I don't know if I can get data and data right.
Yeah, I think we got the gist. So I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of people are going to be crowding over to Verizon so they can be able to get their unlimited phone services just so they can get Disney Plus. It kind of reminds...
I don't know. I mean, if I already had Verizon, I would probably check out Disney Plus just because I can for free. But
I'm talking about for no phone owners, you know?
Right.
I am Boost Mobile, ma'am.
Excuse me, I'm sorry. But it's actually funny because it kind of reminds me of Black, you know, that movie with Brad Pitt where he's kind of like an angel or something, or he's like the angel of death, and he comes down into Earth, and he, you know, is trying to take the Anthony Hopkins character, and that movie was like critiqued harshly because it was so slow and boring. Well, apparently, from what I heard in rumors, the reason why most of the people assumed that movie made a lot of money was because people would buy their tickets just so they could be able to see an exclusive trailer for Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, and then as soon as the trailer was over, they would just leave the theater immediately. At least that's what I've heard. I don't know if that's true or not.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, how many people bought Zone of the Enders? And it was like I paid $50 for the Metal Gear Solid 2 demo that came with a free game.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if that were to be the case. It's like Tobal Number 1, the fighting game that Square did, and then the reason why some people bought it was because it had the demo for Final Fantasy VII.
All right.
I think that we'll just definitely have to wait and see. I mean, from what I've been seeing, Plus, like, they have so much stuff in there, and for $6.99, it is a hell of a deal. Like, I mean, like, stuff that has been obscure for the longest time is now coming back into the streaming service. Like, you know, even stuff that I never would have expected for it to come in. Like, Disney's Doug, for example.
Yeah,
like,
fair enough.
That I never thought I would see that come back. And
both
you know,
Wine on Twitch says DuckTales, Gargoyles, and many more.
Like, it's not even a joke. Like, Disney Plus has a account just specifically so far to state everything that they're going to be releasing, and so far, I mean, like, they're even releasing some of the Don Bluth films in there. Oh wait, I'm sorry, I can't say anything about Don Bluth because of my useless trivia. So I'll shut up now.
There's also damn it. I had it. It was on the tip of my tongue, and then it just poofed. But I
think Kazam is going to be in Disney Plus. I think.
Yeah, like even some things that you kind of wish would stay in the dark, it's coming back.
And then there's some films that are like, what is this? There's like some weird films from like the 70s. Like, what is
now
this
pretty
thing?
bad, Patricia.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Just fix this up. Okay. There's some films that are from the 60s and 70s, I think, that are also going to be released on Disney Plus, and people were like, what is this?
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah.
Like the banana splits?
This was when Disney was like, in the 70s, you know, before Disney had its renaissance, Disney was going through a weird period. Like, they weren't releasing a lot of animated films anymore, and they were focusing primarily on live action movies that were still aimed at young people or like general audiences, and some of them could get a little odd.
Yeah.
What the hell do you people want? Watch a damn movie. I don't know what to do anymore.
I'm actually considering, like, maybe Decker should have a summer of these films, like just like all of these films from the
just
the
do a
70s.
summer of Disney and just have just the weirdest ones.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, do a summer of Disney, but just to have all the really, really fucked up movies that they made.
You know what? Because you said that, I'm actually.
You cut out again.
You cut out again, Patricia.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm very sorry.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go over to their Twitter account and find like the most weirdest stuff that they announced. And I'm going to see what they have so that we can probably talk about it.
The Nestine 100 says, "Be willing to bet Song of the South won't be on Disney Plus."
Oh, it's not. It's not. Trust me, it's not. It's not going to be
That
there.
was funny, and at the same time, it's really not.
Okay. Okay, I'm going to pull it up right here. So here we go. Let's get started, shall we? Okay, so here's what we have so far. The latest, remake, that's obvious. High School Musical, the series. Yes. Noelle. Yeah, I know. Ugh. Okay, Noelle. The World, according to Jeff Goldblum.
I don't even know what the hell that is.
I think it's probably like some sort of show. It's from National Geographic.
I just know it involves a lot of...
Yeah. Let's see. Encore. One Day at Disney, which I heard it was a documentary. I saw the trailer. Nice. Marvel's Hero Project, which I did hear about, where they are showing off real kids and showing off like they can do like really incredible things. Motorcycle US says, Decker, do something wicked this way comes. Thank you very much for your donation for $2. Something wicked this way comes. I think we actually did talk about this because something that wicked this.
Cutting out again.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Something wicked this way comes is a horror movie that came out that was based off of a Ray Bradbury book, and I think they even made a film of it. I think Disney did, but they
1983. Yeah.
Yeah, they did do a movie based off of it, and there was a remake of it that came out not too long ago that had Angelica Houston in it, and Melissa Joan Hart was the director.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yes. So I've heard a lot of people give praises to Something Wicked This Way Comes. They said it was like a legit, like creepy movie for a Disney film. So that actually should be really interesting. Yeah. So I've actually let's see what else. Kingdom of the White Wolf. This is more their National Geographic stuff. Gordon Ramsay Uncharted. Oh my God, Gordon Ramsay.
I just imagine this is like some kind of survival show, except instead of Bear Grylls, you have Gordon Ramsay.
Yeah. Apollo Mission to the Moon, Amphibia, Hostile Planet. A lot of their basic stuff. I'm looking for the.
I just imagine
stuff.
Gordon Ramsay not drinking his own piss, but drinking like his cameraman's piss, and just spitting out. You call this piss?
What was the name?
Make it again.
I need to look for something weird. Give me something weird. I think this is going through like their.
The Gordon Ramsay one wasn't weird enough.
I need to look for something weird. I'm gonna scroll down a little bit to go to their 70s and 80s stuff because they're going in chronological order. So, let's see. Kingdom of the Apes Battle Lines. That's their National Geographic stuff. So yeah, this is pretty much everything that they're going to be having. I really wish that they had like all of these in like the correct order. That way I can actually we can talk about this. Maybe I can just actually maybe I'll just Google it. That'll probably do. But in the meanwhile, while I actually Google this stuff and try to find it. So
I have one for you, Patricia.
What?
The Watcher in the Woods, the 1980 film.
That's right. Yeah,
it was produced by Walt Disney Productions. It was distributed by Buena Vista, but Walt Disney Productions produced the movie.
Okay, that actually is a good idea for sure.
Yeah. I was digging.
Right.
I was like, I remember this was a movie, but I wanted to say, was it a Disney? Was it produced by Disney? And I was like, I couldn't be 100% sure, so I decided to look it up, and yep, it was.
Awesome. All right, so while I dig through the weird, obscure stuff from Disney Plus that they're going to be posting, I'll have Creepy read the next article, which is about the upcoming Matrix film, and they have a new cast member joining in amongst the group, and one of them is going to be. Neil Patrick Harris.
Ah, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so Neil Patrick Harris is going to be joining alongside Keanu Reeves and Carrie Ann Moss for the upcoming Matrix movie. So go ahead, Creepy.
Neil Patrick Harris is the latest addition to the ensemble cast for the upcoming fourth installment of the Matrix franchise. He joins Keanu Reeves and Carrie Ann Moss, who will be reprising their roles in the film, whereas Yahya Abdul Mateen II, who was tapped as one of the leads last week. Plot details are currently unknown, which is not surprising. And even if they were known, we probably wouldn't understand what the hell was going on anyway. While it was rumored a young Morpheus could appear in the movie, sources close to the film would not confirm Harris's specific role. Warner Brothers announced in August that a fourth Matrix movie is officially in the works. Reeves and Moss returning, and
That would be really weird if Neil Patrick Harris was a young Morpheus.
That would be weird.
Very strange. I feel like the movie would have some explaining to do.
Oh, Bullfwine says they could see Neil Patrick Harris as being the Oracle. They did establish that the Oracle sometimes looks different. So
that is true. I would love to see that. That would be.
Now I'm imagining Neil Patrick Harris giving predictions and cryptic advice to like the anti-machine rebels in song and dance form.
I want that in my life.
And Lana Wachowski on board to write and direct. Warner Brothers Pictures and Village Roadshow Pictures will produce and globally distribute the film. Alexander Herman and David Mitchell co-wrote the script with Wachowski, who will also produce with Grant Hill. The film is expected to begin production at the beginning of 2020. Warner Brothers has been trying for the last couple of years to find a way back into the Matrix universe, but a holdup over producing rights slowed the project down, because that's all they ever do. The studio has recently seen the opportunity to ramp up development, with Reeves boasting a strong summer that included box office hits John Wick Chapter 3, Parabellum, and Toy Story 4, in addition to a solid script from Wachowski. The three previous films, The Matrix Reloaded, and The Matrix Revolutions, have collectively earned more than $1.6 billion at the global office. All three were written and directed by Lana and her sister Lily, and starred Reeves and Moss. The role is a huge land for the How I Met Your Mother star, in what could mark his first tentpole at a major studio. Harris was most recently seen in the Netflix series, A Series of Unfortunate Events, which I still need to finish. On the film side, his recent films have included Alexander Payne's Downsizing and David Fincher's Gone Girl. He is wrapped by CAA and United Entertainment. Jada Pinkett Smith is in negotiations to reprise her role as Niobe in The Matrix 4. She played the role in the previous three films. Deadline first reported the Smith casting.
All right. So, yeah, there we go. I lost my camera. There, come on, get back. There we go. All right, so I actually found some of the films that are bringing up. I guess we're gonna play a little game called "What Is This?" So I actually did find some of the films that people were like, "What is this?" Let me just take a look. Here's the first one. I'm going to pull it up on my phone because if I try scrolling through the Disney Plus Twitter account, it will take me all day. So the first one is called The Computer Who Wore Tennis Shoes. It's a sci-fi film from 1969.
I remember that one. Yeah, there was a remake and starring, what's his name? Kirk Cameron, that was it. Yeah, Kirk Cameron played.
This is Kurt Russell.
Yeah, Kurt Russell. Yeah,
this is a young.
This is very different people.
Yeah, this is
Kurt, okay.
Yeah.
Kurt
there we go. You can see it right here. This is a young Kurt Russell.
Yes, Kurt Russell was in the original. Kirk Cameron was in the remake.
There you go. Yeah, there you go.
Okay. But yeah, The Computer Wore Tennis Shoes. It's about a college student who gets electrically shocked by a computer and ends up absorbing the entire database into his brain, which turns him into a genius.
It kind of sounds like Freakazoid almost.
Yeah, I'm going to try that with my Blu-ray collection. I'm going to make reviews a lot easier to write. Like, wait, how did that go again? Ring, ring, ring. Oh, of course.
Yeah. Let's see. Here's one from 19. Find it. I just pulled it up. Okay, so here's one from 1978. The Cat from Outer Space.
I remember that one too.
Yeah.
Cat
That is
from
a
outer
weird-
space?
Yeah, the Cat from Outer Space.
How does that work? Because I have a lot of questions, like, about biology and...
Okay, this is the one that people, they flipped out saying, what? So this is called, this is from 1980, Sultan and the Rock Star. You have a guy who's a rock star, and he's singing alongside a tiger.
Okay.
This is Life of Pi. Yeah, I know. This is like Life of Pi, except that you have a singer.
I was going to say, so this is one half of Penn and Teller.
or Siegfried and Roy.
Yeah.
I was a little taken aback when I found out Penn and Teller were in Borderlands 3.
I guess it's not too surprising. I mean, it's like in one of the Call of Duty games where you have like Paul Rubens and Elvira in a video game.
Well, I'm not used to there being actual, like, stars in, like, practically playing themselves in Borderlands. They weren't necessarily playing themselves, but they were playing themselves.
Sure.
They were pain and terror, and and they looked like themselves, except dressed more Borderlandsy, and Teller's mouth was sewn shut.
Okay.
So Ice Cube too. That's right. Both lines like Ice Cube, but Ice Cube didn't play himself. I mean, he did, but he didn't. He played an AI navigation thing that was stuffed into a teddy bear. It's very complicated.
Yeah. Here we have another one. It's called The Strongest Man in the World. Once again by Kurt Russell.
Yes, that was a sequel.
Every time I get the camera up so I can see it, you're taking it away. I'm like, dang it.
Yeah, let me just pull it up again. Sorry. So,
that was a sequel to the Computer Wore Tennis Shoes.
What a coincidence. So yeah, there's like a lot of ones that I.
So this sounds like it sounds like the kinds of things like the original Absent-Minded Professor.
Oh, by the way, Absent-Minded Professor is also in Disney.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I guess that's not a coincidence. And also, not to mention.
Now I have to call. I called it the original, even though it. You show it again.
Here we go. Here, unidentified flying oddball.
Okay. But I called it the original Absent-Minded Professor, even though the remake of the Absent-Minded Professor wasn't called the Absent-Minded Professor.
Yeah, it was called Flubber.
Yeah.
Flubber.
Yeah, the unidentified flying eyeball is an astronaut who lands in the Middle Ages. Yeah, there we go. I guess it's like what was it, like the Connecticut Kid in King Arthur's Court or something.
With a little Planet of the Apes going on.
Yeah, Planet of the Apes. Instead of landing in, Ape City, you have him landing in a medieval castle. I'm sure that wouldn't cause the universe to crash into a paradox. Anyway, so I think that's pretty much it. Everything that I see, movies that I.
You're cutting out really bad, Patricia.
Sorry. I said that the other ones that I've seen are either movies I've heard of or ones that I've already seen. So I'm just going to leave it at that. But that one with the singer and the tiger is amazing.
Oh yeah, Kirkby says iced tea, not ice cube. I'm like, okay, so vanilla iced tea with cubes. I don't know.
Vanilla iced tea with cubes. Yes. Okay, so let's go over to our next artist, Decker's turn. There's a new trailer briefly discussed about this last time on Live Wired that about an upcoming remake to a film by David Cronenberg called Rabid, and now we actually have the trailer.
Like starring the little rabbit things from Ubisoft. Like, is he come up with a little knife like? Ah!
No, I think that was a Monty Python joke. No, I think not Rabbit. Rabid.
Well, yeah, that's what they're called from Ubisoft. Rabbids. They're rabbits, but they're called rabbids, and they go. Ah!
I don't think that was. I don't think that was. So, as far as I know, I mean, it could be it. I don't know. Let me just actually bring up the article really quick and get rid of these stupid ads. These ads are killing me.
Right.
Can I have some?
Yeah, don't we all? Okay, here we go. Rabid trailer remake of Dating Cronenberg's horror.
Well, that's a nice face right there.
Oh, it's lovely. It's the kind of face that you want to bring home to.
One of the most popular early works of body horror master David Cronenberg was his film Rabid, originally released in 1977. Now this year we'll see the release of a Rabid remake, directed by the Soska sisters, Jen and Sylvia Soska. You can check out the new Rabid remake trailer down below. We can only hope that this new film does justice to the original exploitation masterpiece. Just does justice to this exploitation film. One of David Cronenberg's most famous films happens to be a remake, so we can only hope that there's the potential for this to be a solid outing, especially when horror fans can always use more body horror. In the new film, after aspiring fashion designer Rose, Laura Vandervoort suffers a disfiguring traffic accident. She undergoes a radical and untested stem cell treatment. The experimental transformation is a miraculous success, transforming her into a ravishing beauty. But she soon develops an uncontrollable sexual appetite, resulting in several torrid encounters which sees her lovers become rabid carriers of death and disease. As the illness mutates and the contagion spreads out of control, all hell breaks loose as the infected rampage through the city on a violent and gruesome killing spree. So do they go, By the look and sound of things, this new interpretation will allow for a familiar yet unique perspective on the original story. While it may be a little too different for some fans, it is neat getting to see this tragic story told by a female perspective. Rose is a female character, after all, and seeing her world through female directors may allow for an interesting experience. Only time will tell. I don't see how that has anything to do with it, but okay.
Sure.
Rabid will premiere later this month at Screamfest on October 15th. The movie will then have its theatrical and VOD release starting Friday, December 13th.
All right. So, has anybody ever seen Rabid before?
No. But, oh god. Okay.
What?
I have not seen Rabid, but I also don't... I'm just confused by the article saying, it's like, you know what, your directing style is sort of dictated by your genitals. I'm like... And Bullfine's like, yeah, there's been female directors for horror films back in the 80s. It's like, yeah, it's not a new thing. Oh, what the hell? Okay, I got a call.
Okay.
Again.
Hello?
All right, so while...
I'm on Live and Wired. Yeah, it's still on.
Is that from Charlie?
Oh, okay.
Probably.
Right.
Did Charlie just call you from the other room?
No. She sends texts.
Ah.
That was Twins' mother. They were at the Ren Fair. I went over there today to take care of the dogs for a bit. The dog was really excited to see me and jumped up on me and clawed the hell out of me.
Ouch.
Dutchy boy, he's big. They were letting me know that they got back. So.
Oh, that's good. That's good. All right. Camel Unit says, well, I don't want to... because it seems that she's not looking into her phone. Patricia, would you stick a xenomorph on Creepy and Decker or send the Predator to get them? Get them from what?
I don't know. Just the general things we've done that need punishing. You know what they are.
Ah.
Probably.
Gosh.
I could see her doing that.
Yeah. Anyway, so none of us have ever seen Rabid, and
it is just like, I don't know. It's like when an article goes on about the gender of the person making the movie, I always take it a little oddly. I don't know. I just feel like the movie should be able to speak on its own. If you don't have anything to say about the movie, and you're like, but hey, woman, I'm like,
yeah. Now, if this was a case in which, like,
you cut out a bit.
Oh, sorry. If the original character was a man and they decided to switch over woman, maybe that would kind of make sense in that context. But no, in the original, from what I'm reading, the character was a woman who went through that. So it's like, what's the point of the whole, oh, this character features a woman and it has women, in it. And it's like, okay, great. I mean, that's fantastic.
People regard Ripley as a great female character. They don't say she's any less great because it was a man directing Alien.
Yeah, exactly. And also, from what I've been...
And I don't think that having a woman direct an Alien sequel would make it better or worse. It would be, how good of a director are they?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. And from what I've been seeing in reviews of Terminator Dark Fate, a lot of people saying that Linda Hamilton was like the best thing that they added back into the Terminator franchise in years. So it's like, okay, that's great. But, it's... I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with this. But, it's actually surprising because usually every time an announcement of a remake on this channel, everybody was saying, like, why? Or, no, don't remake this. It's like, I didn't get a lot of feedback from that whatsoever.
I think it's because Rabid is, I don't know, it's like, it's body horror, so it's remembered, but it's not really, like, it's not like, oh, this was a very specific feeling here as much as it was, that was some really good effects. It's not something that you can't really pull off, and they are changing things around, they're being open about changing things around, and this is a new take, and, like, it's a remake of a Cronenberg film, and they mentioned that Cronenberg is famous for one of his remakes, and his remake was, of course, in reference to The Fly, which is extremely different from the original.
True.
So
I guess you're right. Yeah, I guess you do have a point. Yeah. All right, we're reaching over to, like, the... I guess I will bring up one more news discussion, and then we go over to the YouTube stuff.
Yay.
Not a lot this time around. Not a lot. Good. Luckily, not a lot this time around. But still, I mean, we're still not excited about the YouTube stuff. So let me see if I can find anything to bring up.
Brianna Roberts says, no Deckers, not the ones from Ubisoft that go, wah! Get it right!
Right. Oh, we need to talk about this one. Okay, so I'm sure if some of you guys have actually, the discussions about, if Marvel movies are real movies. Martin Scorsese has been bringing this up over the past week.
It's been a weird thing with a lot of older directors coming out of the woodwork to now have to... everyone's got to chime in on this.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Martin Scorsese worries about young people because apparently, like, any movie that's, out in the theaters that generates, like, a lot of people to watching it is like, oh, it's not a real movie. So, okay, sure.
I figure people look for certain things in movies. There are things that people specifically go for. They specifically like to get out of things, and maybe he does not get those out of Marvel movies, and it's a gripe he has with it. I am kind of like that with video games. I think everyone's like that with everything in some degree. But with video games, I'm very much gameplay first. I could give two shits about the story.
Oh, okay. So it's like the John.
And Charlie is very, very story centric. She likes good gameplay, but she's very interested in a lot of stories that she's invested in. She's looking very forward to The Last of Us Part 2. I am there like, okay, EDF. That is my thing. I really don't care what the story is. I just know I want to play it.
Yeah, and I'm actually a little bit of both. I do appreciate the story, especially when it comes to, like, good quality storytelling, like with The Last of Us, for example. But I also do love good gameplay as well. I in the environment of the game, I do enjoy controlling as the character and getting to experience defeating the boss and collecting items. My favorite genre of video games are Metroidvania games, and Super Metroid is my favorite game. And I do enjoy just the subtlety of, the storytelling on that game with the beginning and just looking around Planet Zebes and, putting together the, story about what's going on over there. But then I also do enjoy a lot of story-driven games, absolutely. It's like you have a mixture about, it's also the same thing in cartoons as well. Like, a lot of people are into, like, the story-driven cartoons nowadays. And back then it used to be, like, episodic. So This whole thing about like Martin Scorsese saying that these movies are not real movies. They're just like, oh, they're not sophisticated. They're not well represented of what true cinema is. I mean, it's kind of like a hard thing to say, but this is absolutely nothing compared to the other thing that I saw, which I'm going to bring up in a minute. I'm not going to read this. Most people already know about this, like, saying about like, you can't treat Marvel movies seriously because they're not true movies. But the one thing that kind of like really kind of questioned on what was what Pedro Almodovar said of movies. So this is definitely going into the thought track of comic books from the 90s. And if you know about comic books from the 90s, they're involved with not only the over-the-top macho-ness, but also sexuality. And this he said about Marvel movies. Marvel movies lack sexuality. As in, like, they're not sexy enough.
Where's my giant boobs? I need to see more spandex butt.
Yes. Exactly.
To be perfectly fair, I would go watch a lot more Marvel movies if this was the case, but,
Right. Anyway, and now I have a phone call that I take, so I'll be right back.
Right. We had a couple of questions. Lone Dragon's asking, is Charlie Nico twins? No, Charlie is not Nico twins. I believe Charlie, well, occasionally, like, when I got her a Switch and we was playing around, one of the names that just kind of fit was Butt Fairy. But she tends to just go by Charlie. Tends to just be Charlie. There's also another question up there a little bit. Do you plan to react/review Dr. Sleep when it comes out? That would be fun. I don't know exactly when it does. Creepy. No Dr. Sleeping right now.
Okay.
But when Dr. Sleep comes out, we may think of having a nice little Stephen King drinking game to The Shining on Live and Wired.
I was going to ask you about that. I was like, there's been requests for there to be a new Stephen King drinking game. Like, apparently just one was enough to make
the one, it did pretty nicely, I have to admit. But also there were a good amount of requests talking about, hey, I really like this new series you have here. What's the next episode going to be? You should do this one, or this one, or this one. Do a drinking game of this movie. I'm like, okay.
So I was thinking, like, I was going to recommend Tommy Knockers, but if Dr. Sleep is coming out, like, when was it again? Sorry.
I am not entirely certain. I've seen some trailers for it, but
hold on.
Let's see.
Actually, I may be able to find out.
No. I put in... trying to use a touchscreen keyboard on my Surface is annoying because I go to Google, I put in one letter, and then it flicks up to the top and takes the keyboard away. I'm like, So I put in D, and it's like, DeckerShadow.com? I'm like, yeah, I know, I have it. It's nice, but no. By the way, don't worry about DeckerShadow.com right now. Technically, the website doesn't actually exist. The domain name just goes straight to my YouTube page. I figure as soon as I have a website that's actually better than just going to my YouTube page, then it can go there.
Okay, Dr. Sleep is available worldwide on Halloween this year.
The book or the movie?
It's available in November 8th in the United States.
It's not one of those things.
So I'm a little.
They did that with Prometheus too, where I was waiting forever for Prometheus, and I'm like, I'm gonna keep my expectations in check. I'm not going to go in there trying to think that it's great or trying to think it's terrible. I'm just going to try and judge it for what it is. But before it came out in America, it came out in the UK, and for several days I was getting a bunch of messages from UK fans like, yeah, man, Prometheus was shit. Like, and I'm like, I'm still going to judge it for just what it is. It's kind of shit. But oh well. Chances of reviewing The Keep and Train to Busan and Star Chaser, The Legend of Orin, and Transformers the movie with Creepy.
And when they say Transformers the movie, do they mean
1986?
1980. Okay, yeah, then that one, yes, that one I would do.
I think I might have that one kicking around.
I love that movie.
I mean, who doesn't have a copy of the Transformers animated movie somewhere in their house?
Hearing you say that is very strange, considering your
Still
attitude
muted
towards
there,
80s
Patricia.
cooking. Welcome back.
You're still muted.
Patri-
There we go. I'm back.
This time, not a technical difficulty, just a slight oversight.
Yeah. So, anything I missed?
Talking about doing the Stephen King drinking game to The Shining with the release of the damn, what the hell is it called? Doctor Sleep.
Oh, right, Dr. Sleep, yeah.
Right. Yeah, so apparently sometime in November, that will be when we have the new Stephen King drinking game, and it will be, we'll be doing The Shining, so I need to find a copy of The Shining.
Now, November 2nd, it'll be, the Doctor Sleep will be out worldwide-ish on October 31st, so we could do the drinking game on November 2nd, but it also is not going to be out in America until the 8th, and we got Live and Wired on the 9th.
And that is the 50th episode. So...
Yeah, but if we just do the 50th episode as nothing but a drinking game, that might be a little... I don't know.
So it comes down to, can we get a copy of The Shining before...
Oh, that's going to be a little more difficult.
Yeah, before next Saturday.
And I definitely can, but I'd have to get everything like very well oiled and just do it as efficiently as possible, which I am not good at.
Like, I was thinking, if you could get a copy... Do you have a copy of The Shining?
No, I do not.
Okay.
Mm.
Patricia, do you have a copy of The Shining?
I do not.
Okay. Is The Shining available to watch on... Do you have Netflix? Do either of you have Netflix?
I'll have
Charlie's
Netflix.
got Netflix.
I'm going to check to see if it's available.
Yeah, I was about to say.
But I would still need to have a copy to process into that little kaleidoscopy thing with the timestamp for everyone to be able to...
Yeah, that's true.
No,
too.
it is not available on Netflix, but Carrie is.
Well, that's not Dr. Sleep related.
I know. I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bullfine says Netflix would be crazy not to add it. And I guess Netflix is crazy.
Yep, they're insane.
Right. Anyway. But like sometime in November, apparently, we're doing The Shining as the Stephen King drinking game.
Well, that sounds. Well, it's going to be a lot of craziness. I don't think you're watched it, so I think that we don't have to worry too much about that.
You don't think it's as long as it, or there's going to be as much drinking?
Yeah, it's not.
And especially since we did it with flashbacks.
Yeah,
flashbacks
and also,
were the rule. You drank to them, and boy, was that a bad idea.
Yeah, and also, not to mention, it's a much shorter movie. It's not 3 hours long.
Is it now?
I don't think it's that long. I hope not.
Let me. Time to check again. So, don't do that.
I got it, actually.
I said don't do that.
Okay.
This is suddenly going all over the place.
All right, fine.
2.5 hours.
Decker did it.
Yeah.
Okay, so 30 minutes less.
Yeah, I was gonna say not as long as Stephen King.
It'll be a proper leash. We shouldn't get too tired during the show.
Right.
As opposed, I mean, we will because alcohol, but but it's not going to be like last time where it was over 3 hours and we had the long introduction and then afterwards we were like, "Oh, what do you think?" I think all three of those movies were nice.
Meanwhile, Patricia just is laughing at our pain. I think I said this afterwards. Like I took like the entire day, like the following Sunday. I just took like the whole day off because I wasn't hung over, but I was just like everything I did felt like I was in. It felt like I was in the 300 movie. Like most of what I was doing felt like it was in slow motion. Yeah. So yeah, I spent most of the day in recovery.
Oh God.
Man.
Tyler Larson asks, Decker Shadow, have you seen the masterpiece of a movie known as Cool Cat Saves the Kids? I'd rather not have the creator threatening me with his like gun and very poor grasp of legal rights.
All right. Let's go over to some. Yay!
Oh,
But
YouTube news. Oh boy.
Yeah, but technically, we're going to be starting off with YouTube Reddit post.
So cutting out again.
I'm sorry. We're going to be discussing about YouTube courtesy of a Reddit post. So somebody went over to a gaming convention where some of the members of Cinemassacre were, and one of the members actually met up with a fan, and the fan was asking them a question about something regarding about if they're still associated with Channel Awesome, and this is what he had to say. Okay, so this is this is posted by Minnie Wolfen. So today I got to talk with Ryan at EGX while he showed off AVGN Adventures and a few other games at a Screenwave both, and it was very interesting to hear what he had to say on the current state of Cinemassacre for things stuck out. Number one, Ryan and Screenwave are trying to push James to work on as much as possible and want him to be personally involved in most of them. He mentioned the Immortal episode and how it's all one take, and to be honest, I found it funny in a few places, but I didn't want to crush his spirits because it wasn't the best episode and it was kind of lackluster. I found the Gilbert Godfrey one worse, to be honest. This one take thing didn't fit his latest review at all, and it felt a bit jarring at times. However, the Life of Black Tiger episode had cringy sections and the humor didn't mesh at all. I did like the Rex Viper rigs, though. Number two, Cinemassacre has cut ties with Dog Walker and removed him from AVGN Adventures 2. Ryan knew about the controversy and the god-awful review Doug did of Pink Floyd The Wall, and he said which bombed. Number three, James's atmospheric horror movie has gone through several rewrites, and James is trying to make it completely different to the AVGN movie and not related. They also said nothing too ambitious was currently in production and that an AVGN movie 2 would not happen. He said that the Nerd movie was the closest we got to a decent movie based off of a YouTuber, and that the design and green screen was really well done, unlike the Nostalgia Critic and Sonic movie, which he completely agreed with me on. Number four, James, Mike, and Screenwave already had the next 14 months planned for videos and are always trying to keep the quality consistent. I mentioned the OG Nerd videos up until the Screenwave era were the best in my opinion, and he totally understood. I said I don't mind the rental reviews and unintended Cinemassacre products, and he said I would watch from time to time. And they should keep doing it as it offers some nice variety. In conclusion, Ryan seemed like a genuinely chill guy. It was a bit awkward interacting with him at times, and he did leave for a meeting and ended the conversation at a point. It was fantastic to hear his thoughts, and I can't wait to see what he and Cinemassacre will do next with James. So basically, the one thing I want to bring up is that they ties with Channel Awesome because of the controversy, and the Pink Floyd The Wall review was such a massive failure for when they watched it. So yeah, it's actually interesting because when we discussed about the Doug Walker controversy last year, when there was that 57-page discussion about everything that Doug Walker did and all the crap that happened behind the scenes. And also, I think that, just James Rolfe and Cinemassacre were like one of the last people that was still involved with him that weren't from Channel Awesome. And so hearing that they cut ties with them, it's like, to be quite honest, I think it was for the best.
I think it was a matter of time kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. I'm like, it does seem as if, like, anyone who didn't immediately cut ties with Channel Awesome back in let's see, we started doing the show in January of 2018, and I think the channel movement started that April.
Yeah, I think it did.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, and it seems like the people who didn't immediately leave when change the channel happened, they've since like, you know what, we tried to stick it out, but I think we're gonna go.
Mm-hmm.
It was like they had a whole 10th anniversary script written, as I understand it, for Channel Awesome, that it was supposed to be like this really big deal, and they had to cancel it because like most of the people who were on that site just decided to leave, just finally got fed up and said, you know what, we're gone.
Yeah, I did hear about that.
Yeah. Blockbuster Buster. He was one of them. He had apparently, he started out as this huge fan of the whole site, back when it was that guy with the glasses, and he really, really wanted to join the site, and he finally got to, and he said that he had been, like, when he first started out doing reviews, it was like his dream to be in this, one of these anniversary specials, and for the 10th anniversary, he was going to be in it. He had a major part. He was coming home from his job every evening to memorize his lines on the script so that he would be ready to go and to film when the time came. And then he got I think he was like the last person to find out, or like one of the last people to find out. And he said, well, we're not doing it because like most of the people on Channel Awesome quit.
I feel really bad for Erod a lot. Like, Erod and I, Erod started out a little bit before me.
Mm-hmm.
But we both, internet time, kind of started around the same time. And we both were applying to be on Channel Awesome around the same time. Mm-hmm. And he got in.
Yeah.
Right.
And, well, my channel's doing fine.
Yeah. Like, I can remember Diva from Musical Hell. She was one of the people who had applied to join Channel Awesome, and she never got in. But then years later, after the whole change the channel stuff, she was like, I think I'll call that a bullet dodged. That was pretty much my impression of it. Like, when I was hearing about all the change to the channel stuff, and I was reading that document that was floating around on Twitter and on Google Drive, where it was like they kept adding stuff to it, and like before long it was something like, I think, almost 40 pages of just all this stuff, and just the whole thing read like some kind of bad dream that just would not stop. There were like multiple accounts of sexual harassment alone. Yeah, it's like just some of the stories on that end alone were like just really uncomfortable, and even going outside of that, like it was just really, really, really bad.
Oh yeah,
and like reading
also in terms of Channel Awesome and the size of my channel and exactly how everything's going, this year I was hoping that I was actually going to overtake Stoned Gremlin Productions, Brad Jones. The Decker Shadow channel was actually on the way to passing them up this year. This summer it was particularly hard. YouTube kneecapped the hell out of the shows, and it's like, I shouldn't have gone for that advertiser-unfriendly Jackie Chan. YouTube don't like that Jackie Chan. Interestingly enough, before I showered today, I got a copyright claim on the Last House on the Left review, and then within 4 minutes it was released. Mm-hmm. So the Last House on the Left review is still the review that got the least trouble out of YouTube for this year.
Interesting.
It's just amazing how it works out. I should probably just do more grindhouse rape and revenge flicks. That's what YouTube really wants out of me.
Interesting.
I don't understand.
I don't think we understand anything.
I mean, I probably, if I did just concentrate on that, I would definitely have passed by Stone Gremlin Productions by now. I might have passed by Joe Vargas by now. Who knows?
I actually was really close to reading, bringing up an article on saying like the YouTube algorithm isn't because of YouTube screwing it up and saying like, we're not doing this because you have little subscribers or that our system is broken. No, it's because of right-wing propaganda. No, I'm not joking. That is actually the article that discussing about that. And I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna bring that up.
Okay. Anywho.
Yeah, let's just go over to our next article. Okay, so Logan Paul.
But the Decker Shadow channel is still slated to overtake Stone Gremlin Productions eventually. Probably not this year, but next year definitely.
He's making sure everybody knows this.
Creepy. I'm just saying, like, I'd call you up all the time telling you how many subscribers I have. As soon as I pass by that milestone, I'm going to call up Brad Jones. He's going to be like, who the hell are you? And I'm like, I got more subscribers than you. And I'm just going to hang up right then.
I was going to say, and hang up immediately.
Yes.
And Brad Jones will just be like,
It's like, who are you?
Well.
the hell was that about?
Yeah, I'm actually curious.
Whatever happened to Tim Deanna? Tim still does. He still has something cinematic, I believe.
Yeah, he does.
He does it off and on. I haven't seen him put out a ton of content. He's taken a hiatus or two over the years, but he's still going at it. So
Yeah, in fact, one of the recent things that he was part of.
you're cutting out pretty bad.
Oh, sorry. So yeah, Creepy recently had a audio play called Mason Dixon that we did a Manic Expression many years ago, and the Manic Expression YouTube channel has been updating to include all the podcast plays that we've done over the years. And just recently, I edited the 4th episode of Mason Dixon. That has Tim Deanna as one of the main characters. He and we play husband and wife. Creepy's our son. Well, he's my son. And James, the founder of Manic Expression, is Tim's son. Well, originally it was played by Mark, aka Big Black Hat Man, who is also an associate of ours. But he's he's no longer in the YouTube game.
I think he's a politician now.
He is a politician, yes.
Yeah.
He's a politician, and he recently got married. So, yeah, I for the most part, yeah, Tim is hiatus, and he's he is blogging on his Something Cinemassacre blog where he updates on newer movies that he's seen, and he's giving his ratings like he always does. So go follow his website, Something Cinemassacre. You'll something cinematic. Something cinematic. That's what it's called.
I should try that. I should get register that domain name, Something Cinemassacre. Just whoever makes a mistake trying to go to either one, they'll end up on my site.
Yeah, it's Something Cinematic. Something Cinematic is the name of Tim's website. That's where he's been posting recent reviews of their blog posts. So that doesn't mean he's not completely stopping. It's just his YouTube channel is in a bit of a. So yeah, let's see. And by the way, I think that somebody was asking about are you serious about the article about the YouTube algorithm thing? Yes, I am. I'm not going to read it, but here's the article, by the way. It's on Wired. It says, maybe it's not YouTube's algorithm radical. Maybe it's right-wing propaganda. So have fun reading that. But no, we're not going to go into that discussion. We're going to go into Logan Paul. And no, it's nothing controversial.
It isn't?
But yeah, we've been talking about Logan Paul a few times on the show. And he is apparently quitting his YouTube vlogs. And the title of this is Logan Paul is quitting YouTube, even though it just says right here he's quitting his daily vlogs. So, yeah, Creepy, it's your turn.
Alrighty then. With his November 9th fight against is that KSI or?
Yeah, KSI.
Okay, just double checking. Quickly approaching and a desire to focus more on a fighting career, Logan Paul is making further changes to his channel. There we go, another change to the channel. The YouTuber, who has just under 20 million subscribers on his channel, is toying with a break.
Bacon.
Is toying with a break of sorts from his blogging career after multiple serious controversy. He's including when he videoed a dead man in Japan's suicide forest. I was going to say, this is the guy who did the suicide forest video. Yeah. And another including his recent anti-abortion comments during the press junket for his KSI fight. Is this career change just for clout, or does he really mean it?
What about going gay for a month?
Oh, yeah, that's right. He also did that, too.
Because that's just something you can do. I'll just go into the character creator for a minute. Excuse me.
I had forgotten about that.
Yeah. And by the way, Live and Wired. So.
You cut out a bit there.
Oh, so I was saying, Live and Wired is not sponsored.
You cut out again.
You know what? Screw it! I'm not going to say anything.
Okay, that came through perfectly.
Because of course it did. We can't really put it past Logan Paul to say dramatic things about his career for the sake of self-promotion. because he's never done anything like that before. And the vlogger threatened to quit YouTube altogether before. Shortly after the Suicide Forest controversy in 2018, Logan announced that he would no longer be doing daily vlogs. After getting 10 million subscribers, he has been putting content online every day for over a year, which would be followed by months of no new content. The controversy caused Logan to take a step back and realize that he needed to have less pressure to post his vlogs. He now posts videos around twice per month. That's all. I'm okay with this. It's just... Anyway, when his rematch against KSI was confirmed in early September of 2019, Logan began focusing on training for the fight. His subsequent videos on his channel have all centered around the fight, from physically preparing to trash-talking his competition. I'm surprised that 100% of all of his videos were not that last part. Though Logan is partly training for the sake of his pride because he wants to beat KSI, he also sets his sight on future fights and expanding his YouTube empire into a different kind of audience. So basically, I want more, is what this boils down to.
I'm expecting Logan Paul to have like a Disney song singing about how he wants more in life.
That would mean he gets the tiara and the frilly dress. Apparently, Logan's year-long for the KSI rematch, the first two fought in 2018 and the rest was a draw, has encouraged the YouTuber to take on more competitors. When speaking to a reporter from Fight Hub TV, Fight Hub, not Fight Club, Logan discussed how his training has gotten him excited to make a career out of it, and he wants to invite more people to fight him. If he's looking for people to punch him in the face, I don't think he's going to have a hard time. I love fighting people in a ring. I think it has something to do with the regimented hard work that it takes to become a fighter. And few people are willing to do it because it's such a hard, grueling sport. There is something about getting hit that fires me up. I have so many things to say to that line, and I don't even know where to start.
Does it involve any kind of latex, is what I want to know.
The report went on to say that Logan does seem to be excited about the upcoming fight. There's a lot on the line, Logan responded. Like
what? Exactly. Your reputation? Because, I mean, it's not really that great, just saying right now.
Yeah, I'm like, your reputation as an awful human being.
I mean, he doesn't have a great reputation as an unbeatable fighter. He could get his ass thoroughly kicked, and he's still going to be Logan Paul tomorrow.
Right. And I mean, people will probably cheer at the ass whooping, though. I'm just saying. I mean, I might.
Tyler Larson says, next up, Logan Paul versus the Nostalgia Critic.
Right.
Oh, jeez.
I mean, like, this is right up there with the time that Uwe Boll got into the tough man competition.
Oh, God.
This is what this reminds me of.
Uwe Boll was there saying, oh yeah, this critic says my movies are bad. Well, I'm gonna fucking beat him up. Yeah. That'll prove my ability to direct if I can kick the crap out of this critic.
Also, yes.
There's this.
If anything, it might have been a therapeutic exercise, at least.
Also, there's this tweet. I haven't told y'all this yet, but I'm actually a Super Saiyan.
That's his Instagram.
Yeah, Logan. No. You are not a Super Saiyan. For one thing, your hair is not nearly spiky enough or blonde enough.
Yeah, not even close. I mean,
it needs to be downright luminescent.
You're right.
Yeah, and people are asking about, like, is this photo fake? From the looks of it, no. I mean, like, this one looks a little bit more realistic. But this one looks
flexing
jacked.
The angle there. And the lighting, of course.
Oh yeah, that's true. The lighting, yeah. So we have off of selling hats than being a YouTuber, and now we have Logan Paul quitting YouTube so that he can become a boxer. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean that sounds perfectly normal.
Anytime I hear about this guy, I'm just like, why has no one hit you yet? Like, not physically punched you. I mean, why has someone not taken a large metal rod and to your kneecaps? I'm just like, why
jeez, man!
This is getting dark.
I'm just like, I just look at this guy now. I don't even go anywhere near this guy because just looking at him, I feel this rage well up from
See,
inside of me.
I don't want him to get any kind of physical pain like that. I just want his soul to be crushed, like his daddy to just bring him to the side and say, son, I ain't mad at you. I'm just disappointed.
Yeah, that is very sweet.
That's just I don't know. Maybe I'm kind of cruel. I don't know. Maybe it's nicer to go with a metal pole option.
Actually, well, okay, I didn't know that psychological torture was allowed. I mean, Decker, you know me. I'm good at that. I just need to find his Achilles heel, Your
guess is as good as mine, man. Wow.
I could lock him in a room, tie him up, and force him to listen to all of his biggest critics point out what a failure he is as a person.
I'm pretty sure he's used to hearing
that I think
he's
used to that, yeah.
That'll just kind of in one ear out the other.
He needs to go through.
I mean, he could be watching us right now, and he's just like, "Fuck these losers."
Yeah, exactly.
I've got more money in my left pocket than the rest of their bank accounts combined.
That is true. I think he needs to go through a marathon of asylum.
Oh God! Oh yeah, that yes.
Yeah.
Ollie, I think that I'm actually going to okay, now I just had a horrible thought. What if he actually likes
You just had a horrible thought.
What if he likes asylum movies? Unironically.
Oh, man. Just show him 3 asylum movies in a row, check in to see how he's going. He's like, "Keep him coming. I was on the edge of my seat there." What? What are you?
Red Spiral Ray asks, just for a dark horse, it's surprisingly mature for a movie for kids. Well, Decker's actually going to be doing. Somebody, Red Spiral Ray was asking about reviewing Pokemon the first movie, and I was answering. Decker's actually going to be doing something related to that pretty soon, actually.
I got. Where did I put it? I put it somewhere. Dang it! Oh no, that's. No, this is Power Rangers. Oh
yeah.
No, that's freaking son of a. Okay, wrong thing. Or is that the right thing? Is the right thing under that thing? The right thing was under that thing. Why was the right thing under that thing? Okay.
Yeah.
So, yes. Got this.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, so Decker will be discussing about Detective Pikachu. And when you're referring to Pokemon the first discussion on the English version or the Japanese version, because they're completely different movies, by the way. Massively different.
True.
But yeah, I'm sure that most likely will probably be the English version, because I think that's the one that most people have seen. But yeah, Detective Pikachu's coming out really soon. And I think that's pretty much it for the we actually have I'm talking the review of the Detective Pikachu's coming out soon.
Yeah.
No, there's not another movie coming out. I mean, I know that there is that is actually a remake of Mewtwo Strikes Back. Mewtwo Returns. That's coming out really soon. So that's actually going to be interesting about comparison between the two movies. I don't know which direction they're going to go to. Are they going to go over to the English dub, or they're going to stick to the Japanese? So maybe this will be the first time that we actually get the true Japanese tale of what happened.
I just remember the weird parts in the Pokemon the first movie. I've only ever seen the American version, of course.
Yeah,
but I'm just singing brother, my brother, tell me what we're fighting for. We have got to end this war.
Yes. I remember, yeah.
It's huh?
Yeah, that is, yeah. And then the whole thing about this, when the whole point of Pokemon is to battle so you can get to the top.
Right.
It's meant to fight.
Pokemon the first movie had a little bit of a mixed message, I remember I saw it, I was 19 when I saw it. I want to say I saw it. And I walked out of it and I was I was glad I saw the movie, but at the same time I was kind of I feel
that is the best news I could have ever asked for.
Oh, that's sweet.
Okay, yeah. Awesome.
When they went to the Ren Fair and came back through Houston, they got me a little something.
Oh, nice.
James Coney Island. So that's waiting at the other end of town. I gotta get over there.
All right, that's great. Lone Dragon says everybody Pokemon. That's actually from Pokemon the movie 2000. That was the Weird Al Yankovic song where he was singing about like all the Pokemon music.
Well, it was in between the first and second generations of Pokemon, so it had like a smattering of the new ones, but we still didn't know most of them yet. So
yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it was kind of like that line in between. Yeah. So I think that.
But if you had a Poke Rap now, with how many Pokemon you have, you'd have to have some like Busta Rhymes
it's actually
to
funny
it.
that you mentioned. There's actually a Poke Rap which actually lives off the Pokemon from generation 1 through 7, and there was actually this really funny skit about like the guy being incredibly tired, and he's like, sing it now or else I'll.
Oh,
so. Yeah, it's actually pretty funny. You should go check it out. They haven't done one for the new region yet, the Alola region, but and also there's gonna be one for most likely for Pokemon Sword and Shield.
Yeah, the Pokemon Sword and Shield region is based on the UK, I heard.
Yes, it is. Yeah. The Galar region, yes.
Mm-hmm. I remember like when the Pokemon movie first came out, like I couldn't even tell you what the movie's plot was. I didn't even know for the longest time that it had Mewtwo in it. It was just like all of the adverts and the promo material for it was just like, hey, this movie has Pokemon in it. Isn't that great? And nothing else. Like it was all just about the fact that this is the Pokemon movie. Here you go. It's like the company, the advertising offices just did jack all that day as far as this movie is concerned. They were just like, okay, yeah, we'll just say it's a movie that has Pokemon in it. The kids will go watch it no matter how bad it is.
Yeah. The reason why is because if you watch the Japanese, the story is about Mewtwo. It goes more into Mewtwo's backstory and his thought process and all of that stuff. Right. I mean, the gang are just there, but the focus is mostly on Mewtwo, and his discussions and his philosophies on why he hates humanity makes a lot more sense in the Japanese version.
Yeah, there's like this isn't there like he had been friends with the there was.
But don't you hate it? Like you see all the commercials saying, Pokemon in this movie. Check out this movie. It's full of Pokemon. You walk in there, you get your popcorn, you sit down. You're like, I'll say, let's get this going. You watch Pikachu have some fun with his friends, jerking around for 5 minutes. And you're like, yeah, whatever, that's cool. Okay, yeah. Got everyone ready? Okay, here we go. Pokemon first movie. Life, the great miracle, and the great mystery.
Yeah.
Like,
you literally start off.
I think it was like this whole thing where he was like friends with this girl in this kind of like VR reality or something.
Yeah, it was essentially like Dr. Fu experiments for a long time so that he can be able to resurrect his dead daughter. He's been doing it for a long time. And the amount of lifetime that these creatures can be able to live is about 3 years. Right. So they found the DNA of Mew, that it'll probably make them live a little bit longer. And so there's Mewtwo, the girl whose name is Ai, and then there's a Bulbasaur, a Charmander, and a Squirtle, and they go through life for 3 years, and they're kind of like in this like weird little limbo, and then finally they disappear, they die off, and then the last thing that the girl says to Mewtwo is like, don't forget about life is precious and all that stuff. And then Mewtwo goes through like this little bit of he goes through a deep slumber for a long time, and he kind of like loses his memory about everything that's happened. And then when he finally wakes up, that's when the movie
Japanese
begins. Story.
Why wouldn't he have amnesia?
Right. Or deeply scarring emotional trauma. It's like you like kids in America have movies where it's about like I want adventure in the great white somewhere. Japanese kids grow up learning life is horrible and you will be miserable for the rest of your life.
Yeah. It's like
you cut out completely there, Patricia. It's like you and then silence.
Okay. So you have Little Mermaid on one end, and then
you have Little Mermaid on one end.
Grave of the Fireflies.
Yeah.
I mean, like people, when it comes to like animation and Japan, it's like they treat it a little bit more like more grounded. It's like it's. It's going back into the discussion of, it's like if with the question of the listener was bringing up I would, reviewing the Pokemon movie. I don't know if he's going to do the first movie, at least anytime soon. But Detective Pikachu is coming, so stay tuned. All right, I think we've already reached our.
Oh yes, we have.
Yeah.
So I think we should end it right now.
So, what have we all got goings on? Well, I started a little playthrough of Duke Nukem 3D. I wasn't sure if I was going to continue it, but it did really well on the gaming channel. But that might just be because I haven't put crap up for so long on the gaming channel. So who knows? Also got the Outer Worlds. I'd really like to play through that on stream. Not entirely sure how much time I'm going to have for that because I still really got to get working on the next movie to review. I don't have it right here with me. That's going to be House of 1,000 Corpses.
Oh, goody!
So
I take it that we're
getting back into the Rob Zombie cinematic universe. I'm on drugs. That's going to have to be in the review now. It's a live and wired joke. Yeah. It's got to leak into the main show at some point.
I think that's perfect, by the way.
Asking about Godzilla, not certain if this year, because I got things going on. I got Dinocember, actually. I do have Dinocember scheduled. I am hoping to work with Creepy on a crossover later this month. Next month. You know which month I'm talking about.
A month at some point.
It's gonna be some month we'll work together. Ow! No.
All right.
So I got the game and stuff, got that, and oh yeah, still selling mugs, trying to make up enough to pay for a new Surface Pro 7.
All right.
The ad revenue has been a little bit better now, so that is certainly helpful. I may actually be able to pay my taxes next year.
Nice.
So, but yeah.
All right. What do you got, Creepy?
Well, in honor of an anniversary that's going on this week, which hopefully I will have finished in time and that it won't be blocked by YouTube, there is going to be a certain review coming up tomorrow. I am finally reviewing Gargoyles: The Awakening.
Nice. I'm looking forward to that.
I've been editing it. I've been editing since yesterday. I edited yesterday. I edited today. I had to stop to get ready for Live and Wired and do some stuff around the house first. But I'm going to finish it either tonight or tomorrow, and then hopefully I'll have it posted sometime.
All right, cool.
Kamel G Unit says you three need to play together a game called The Isle. Play as dinosaurs. Survival game. Would be hilarious, I bet. I don't know if everyone's got the right. I don't even know if I have a good enough computer to play that right now, honestly.
My computer's crap.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I could only go, going through the comments of, you need better technology or your Wi-Fi you sucks for so long. It's like I get it. Thank you.
She's aware. We get it. Neither Patricia or I live in a place where the Wi-Fi is especially strong.
Imagine if Asylum made Pokemon movie. I think they have made knockoff Pokemon movies.
I wouldn't be surprised. All right, well, let's see. As for me, I posted up the recent episode of We're in Between for the first time in a while, in honor of As Told by Ginger's 19th anniversary. It's the highlights from season 1. And right now I'm editing a podcast about the original Are You Afraid of the Dark? From 1991. I have two very special guests on it. They're Joey and Andrew from the Big Orange Couch podcast. And we go over, our discussions about like memorable episodes and monsters and such. And we're doing it in honor of the recent 3-part miniseries that had aired on Nickelodeon. The last one just aired last night. And I watched all of it, and I'm hoping to have a very special guest to discuss about it. We
actually had a comment on Alfreaka TV. I don't know how long ago it was, but Rational said, finally, a live stream where people speak English.
I guess
I wish I noticed that earlier. Sorry about that.
Yeah, sorry. I guess our Pig Latin is kind of hard to find out what we're saying.
Sure.
So, I have that coming. Let's see. I'm actually going to be posting up an old video of something that was blocked from YouTube like 3 years ago. It's a Halloween video that I did, and I'm going to redo it again because, YouTube and all that stuff. So that's what I got going on. So, yeah.
Okay, so thank you all for joining us. I've been doing drugs! I'm Dr. Shadow.
I've been glitching out. I'm Patricia.
Although you're doing fine now that we're wrapping things up.
Where was this the entire time?
Yes. Decker, you weren't the only one, though. Decker was fading in and out.
Yeah, I saw. I was flashing, too. I'm like, what in the hell? That doesn't normally happen.
Yeah.
I think I just flashed right now. Oh, boy.
Okay, go ahead, Creepy.
And I've been that long-haired creepy guy.
At least give him a leg. There we go. That's better. And remember...
Legs.
What's worse? Having the crap kicked out of you, or waking up in the morning knowing you're Logan Paul? Good night, everybody.
Having the crap kicked out of you presumably. Being Logan Paul goes on for way longer.
Good night.